Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are running Iberia, and we're doing pretty okay as we get going here. Let's take a second before we get started to figure out what we want to build to improve things in our market. Okay. It'd be nice if we could get our own automobiles. I don't think we've got the necessary tech to produce those. Yeah, because we don't have a combustion engine yet, although we're close. We're quite close. We're going to need to increase electrification of the country. That's the primary thing. Anywhere there's... let me see, if we got steam turbine yet? Not yet. Oh, it's brutal. What if I snag steam turbine in the middle here? Then maybe we'll do This might be a mistake. Because radio is an important defense technology. Do I do it? I think I do. I think I do, because I think it's going to be good for the economy. Alright, so we'll grab steam turbine, but even so, we're going to look at where we've got our... First, we're going to look at where we've got explosives factories. Castilla la Nueva, we've got 12 levels. Extremadura, we've got 30-ish levels. So we need 20 electricity per level. So that's like 10 power plants in Castilla la Nueva, 7 in Galicia, and like 25 in Extremadura. So, Castilla la Nueva, we'll do 10 power plants. Extremadura, we need 25-ish. And then, let me see, Galicia will go with 7, Beira will go with 3, Valencia will go with 4, Baja Andalusia will go with 4. So once again, that's Galicia 7, Beira, Valencia, and Baja Andalusia 4. We'll just do it that way. Alright. Baja Andalusia, Beira, and what was the other? Valencia. That's right. And then we'll build one in Tunisia. We'll build one in Tunisia. We'll do that. Yeah, we'll build 2. We should have some urban centers here. Yeah, we got a significant urban center presence here. Alright, nice. And that's what'll let us swap over our explosives factories. Now, what I was going for was the motor industries. For these, we're going to need 30 each. So it's actually even more levels than before. We might... Will we have... No, we won't. We will not. We will not have the new power tech. So, Entre Douro y Minho will need 40 levels. Castilla la Nueva, same thing. Oop, that was 50. Alright. Alta Andalusia, we're going to need 30. Extremadura, not Extremadura, Extremadura, we're going to need 20. And then all the others are outside of our market. Alright, that should probably be... That's plenty. That's plenty of those. Now, we have some exiled armies. Those are on their way to being in territory they can cross, at which point it should be possible for them to return. So, like, you, for example, can return to Iberia. Earthquake! It's not ideal, is it? Alright. This army can return to Iberia. This army is still crossing over. Yes, that's right. Sorry, if you can't tell, it's been a little bit since I've played. Yes, we just participated in the fracturing of Brazil. Oop. My armies. And you are still getting there. Nope, you're on. Now you can get underway. Alright. Yes, we just fractured Brazil. into Brazil, Amazonia, Bahia, and the Confederation of Equator. We have 5-year truces with all of these nations, but soon, we will be able to take what we wish to take. Relations are good with all these countries except for Brazil. I'm going to end my rivalry with them, and I'm going to start improving relations. And what this is going to do is it's going to slowly... You're still a great power. Wow. That's a shock, I will say. Do I want to do any more territorial aggression right now? I can't believe this situation. Baden, what's going on with you? Baden, the subject of Prussia, and Baden independent. Interesting. Sind are damaging relations. How could this happen? Oh, right. I was going after various states in Gujarat, so as to coordinate Gujarat together into one state. Let's see how long it would take to build up enough power to power the urban centers in Gujarat. How long would it be? Not that long, actually. So as you can see, turmoil is significantly lower now that we've meshed all these states together, because now we've got a lot of the things we need. I could still conquest Palanpur. Annex is 2.6, return is 1.1. Okay, so they might have fixed... Hold on, let me just check something here. Annex, I'm going to mouse over the infamy amount, and that's going to reach minimum infamy for this war goal. Base value of 5. Okay, it doesn't seem... It still doesn't seem to be kind of fixed. I am still going to grab this one, this final spot. That's going to get us a little bit more of the state. And we'll just go ahead and send not the expeditionary force, the global defense force. The Iberian global defense force. Here we go. We'll just send these fellas. That'll just allow us to sort that out. Now, I'm in rank 1, and it's not close. I've got a highly legitimate government with the trade unions in power. They're going to form a communist party. The Catholic Church are going to break from the conservatives to form a Catholic party, and the armed forces are going to fold back into the conservatives. So we're going to see what kind of effect that has on our politics. There's automatic bottle blowers. It's not great that was one of our first tier 4 techs. What do we got spreading, game? Surely a new tech will spread. We can't be all the way ahead. Are we all the way ahead? No. Combustion engine. Alright, that's actually beautiful. That's really good, because hopefully that'll get us combustion engine prior to us needing to put a bunch of development into it. We've got very healthy tech spread. We've got high literacy, and we've got quite a bit of unspent innovation. Plus, we've got protected speech, which is actually allowing us to spread tech more effectively, which is pretty cool. Right, I've got my own Congo down here. That's right, I've got my own Congo because I needed to form a colony. I needed a colony to complete the Iberian development journal entry. France is going after Sind. Ah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I suppose a lot of countries are just kind of digging into India now. Now, Bengal, you are actually happy with us. I'm going to go ahead and improve relations. And we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna see how this goes. Theoretically, getting Bengal, getting in better with Bengal. Wow, they are high up in the prestige rankings. Although there's a lot of difference right at the top. It's not a. Oh, right, because they're crossing neutral territory now. Well, that's fine. So what I'm planning on doing, let me see, do I still have a powerful Gujarati separatist movement? I do not. So Boston backs down. Mysore backs down. All right. Mysore backs down against the Danes? I'm not sure what happened. Yeah. No, they backed down against the Danes. Not sure why or what, but... Also, you doing communism over there, Mysore? Hey, we got refined steel. Excellent. Anjador Minho Steel is producing prestige goods, which is really nice. They are a universal suffrage monarchy with cooperative ownership. Gotta say, wouldn't have assumed that that's something that you could pull off, but them's the breaks, I guess. All right, now that we've got a sufficiency of power plants here, let's grab the urban center and get it started with electric streetlights. And that's going to produce a lot more services. Papuan diplomatic play. Well, the Global Defense Force will be able to handle that exactly 100. Great. So this is the achievement that you get for having one of your primary cultures at 100 cultural fervor. I'm just going to put the Global Defense Force there. Ooh, actually, we should be able to colonize. Can't colonize yet. Oh, right, because there's an uprising happening. That's why we can't colonize the place. Laguna now is British. Interesting. We have a shortage of construction. Oh my, we surely do. Alright, that's interesting. Let's take a quick look at our construction. Let's build up 5 levels in beta. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna build everywhere in Iberia proper up to 10. And that will allow us to develop just a comical amount of construction. This is maybe a ridiculous amount of construction development, but I think it'll be worth it. Let's do like half right now. And we'll see what kind of effect that has on the investment pool. I've got a very high gold reserve. And there's electric railways. Beautiful. So, where are we currently building? Baja Andalusia. Alright, we're just doing the stuff we need for the... Let's pull over the Karen National Awakening. Cool. We'll pull over the explosives factories to brine electrolysis for now. That should allow them to do everything. Did I not build... Okay, the ones in Tunisia are not built yet. Probably. That's probably what happened. Yeah, 7 weeks. Alright, so we're right at the end of the, of those other ones. We built 100... We built like 33 construction sectors. So let's take a quick look at our market. And see, we've goobered ourselves on glass, but that's okay. Let me see, we're outputting a lot of refined steel right now. And we've got some places that need additional market access. I've goobered myself on market access in Extremadura. Let's build... There's already 4 levels being built there by the private sector. To Sicilies, you want to trade privileges and to allow me to invest in you. Absolutely. I would be delighted with that, sir. Let's take a quick look at the private queue. I just want to make sure that those are going to get built within a reasonable time frame. Because if they won't, then that's going to be a headache. So there's 1. That's not under construction yet. Okay, here's 3. They're not too far away. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. What about the ones in Galicia? One's already being built. Fine. I'll let that go for now. So we're going to need some glass works. I'm going to give the private queue some time to compensate while I build up all this power infrastructure. because we're going to need a lot of power infrastructure to improve my overall situation with my my motor industries. Because basically, it's not until you get electric motors that motor industries become viable financially. Now, I do have a Gujarati national movement. It is slowly growing. Where are we? It's predicted to drift towards agitating, so we'll leave it for now. And if it gets bad, we'll release this state as its own thing. Alright, so one of the sins is a subject. We're now fighting this other war here in Southeast Asia. In New Guinea. I was going to say Indonesia. It's in the Indonesia diplomatic zone, but it's not actually part of what's modern-day Indonesia. I believe this is a line which divides Indonesia from Papua New Guinea today. Oil in Veracruz, excellent. Morocco is in default. That don't impress me much. No migration controls. I don't think that's going to happen. Well, we don't have to worry about it. So, where else do I want to pursue aggressive policy? I could start simply devouring my way into India here. That's a thing that's happened before. The French are also... No. The Bengalis are going after the French. Interesting. So this is a situation which I might find extremely profitable. I'd have to fight a large war for this to work. Am I still getting the insufficient construction? I'm not. Iberian Sunda Isles and Madeira. I need to handle the Sunda Isles. I am having a hard time remembering where the Sunda Isles are. They're in Indonesia, right? Yes, they're down here. They're down here. You have... Oh, you don't have an infrastructure problem. You have a transport shortage. Right. Alright, so let's just go ahead and build ourselves a railway here. Madeira, same deal. Here's Madeira. We need that as well. Now, this business with the French and Bengal. Who's leaning away? Nobody, really. If we stand with the French, what could we get? War goals, transfer subject. Get Oyo, which I do desire. This would eventually allow me to tighten my hold over Africa, which would be nice. It's not ideal. Conquer a state, that would be absurd. I could do what Germany often does and split France in half. So that'd be liberate country. I could split off Occitania, and that would allow me to kind of do as I like. It's funny because the French and I are kind of natural allies. I'm not rivaling them, but relations are quite bad. Right. Because I've been improving relations and they're damaging them. You know what? France, you've been a thorn in my side long enough. I'm cutting you in half. Alright. Now we have a front. I'm going to mobilize everybody. I'm going to send our main armies to the front with France. I'm going to send a secondary force. North Africa, and we're just going to kind of see what comes of this. Let's bring the Armada up to the Bay of Biscay. And we'll just kind of see what comes of this. There is a front over there. I could send... Okay. East Angola front. Ah. There's a small front over here. I'm going to send the first Home Guard to India. I'm going to send the second Home Guard to Africa. With all these many and various small fronts, hopefully they'll be able to win. Alright, that's actually very good for me. There are fronts here in Southeast Asia. Very well. The Global Defense Force will go to those fronts. Now, hopefully this will make the Indian front a lot easier, because... Hold on. I need at least one Home Guard army to stay at home. Do I have... I only have two. I only have two. Okay, I made a mistake. I only developed 2 Home Guards. That's okay. It was an elaborate ruse to confuse and confound our enemies, the French. Alright. Tunisia, let's get your explosives industries doing that thing. There we go. Beautiful. So now from here, it's still kicking off. Alright. Entre Douro y Minho, we're still working on developing the necessary industry. I believe that means Castilla Nueva already has it. Yeah, absurd number. Beautiful. Alright. Motor industries. Shazam! Not gonna reduce labor needs there yet. Alright. Entre Douro y Minho. Let me see. Yeah, you're still basically developing. I can't add anything on here because I'm not the primary. I'm not the first power involved. Do I grab those motor industries now? I think the answer is yes. Let's go ahead and get them producing electric engines. This has generated a shortage of electricity, but we're building up the necessary power infrastructure. Plus, that'll get these power plants employing more. Because they're suddenly quite profitable, what with power being expensive and everything. Let me see, you're primarily doing... Section. Let's have one of you... Is one of you a convoy raider? We'll put you on convoy raider. That'll be nice. Sea lane strategies. Nice. Alright. So this will let me get my final upgrade of light ships, which is very good. Oh, there's a front in Oyo. Well, my subjects seem to be handling that just fine. So I don't feel particularly perturbed about that. Eastern New Guinea front seems to be handled. India front. Bengal seems to be handling that. Front in France. Actually, we're losing on this one. And on this one. I'm curious. Despite our excellent force comparison, we are... Okay, there we go. No, that one's going our way now. Beautiful. Alright. Entre Douro y Minho. No, you've already been switched over. I don't need to do anything else here, right? I'm so silly. I'm so frickin' silly. Alright, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, you'll be profitable soon. You're getting more profitable as we speak. As we speak. When's the next time I have an election? It shouldn't be too long now, right? Yeah, 1908. Oh, it's very soon. Election cycle's actually about to start. So we're going to see what comes of that. As time goes by here. Looks like we are developing a healthy amount of occupation in France. And let's take a look at how things are going. We've certainly inflicted far more casualties than we've sustained. I'm feeling very pleased about that. I can't get a hold of Congo over here. I'm glad they added the ability to change the language of the administration of these colonial countries, because you often ended up prior to that capability with like a weird like I'm technically Iberia, but I've got a an English language subject in Africa, and that was rather silly. Sinking a good number of French convoys at this stage. Bengal's war support is holding. Has France added any war goals against me? Looks like no. So what that means is I do not have war support protection, so I need to be a little bit conscientious about how I play this. Where am I in this list? Oh, I'm all the way here at the top. Yeah, no, I don't have war support protection, so I need to be conscientious about this. Alright. Election cycle has started. We've got a Communist Party and a Catholic Party. That's going to bugger my legitimacy, I believe. Oh, no, they're still oh, weird. The intelligentsia are heading up the Social Democrats all by themselves. Oh, that's curious. And the trade unions and rural folk are together in the communists. That's wild. Let's give it a week and see what the election predictions look like. So, Communist Party has a healthy for momentum. Social Democrats are completely fallen off. Progressives are completely fallen off. So it's gonna be the communists or the conservatives. They both have about equal momentum, so I can side with each. This is gonna shock you. I'm gonna go with the communists. Not that I'm going communism, but just that we're pursuing a left strategy, and that's going to allow us to continue to do that. Party-affiliated newspapers have been proliferating during this election season. Publications associated with the Communist Party have been particularly effective in spreading the party line. Read all about it. Honest politicians attacked by shameless cowards. Leading candidate for office issues heartwarming appeal to the common man's heart. Man on campaign trail pets a puppy. Read all about it. The Communist Parties use the papers brilliantly, extra momentum, or newspaper circulation through the roof. This is a boom for publishers. Extra paper mills throughput. I'm going to go with the first one. Nobody should be surprised by that. Just check and make sure that our market access issues have been sorted out, and indeed they have. Now, this army is still here where it needs to be. This army is on its way to this front. No, they're just hanging out. Alright, well, you need to go to that front to deal with that situation. I do not have an army in India. Global Defense Forces attriting, but that's okay. Let me see. We are getting... Right, still pushing forward in Africa. I knew that. I knew that. And we're moving northward in France. So at this rate, I feel extremely confident that we're going to be... And there's pasteurization. So, where have I got... Pabrine. Pabrine. Here. Pabrine epidemic. And I can't actually see where else they are. So let's... Maybe if I go to my silk... Ooh, I can go to recoil mechanisms. But do I want to introduce an oil cost? I need to check. I think I've asked myself and answered this question before. I don't think so. We are producing a lot of oil. Let's do it. You just think you're not profitable. You're profitable. You're just, they're malingering. Let's go to rotary valve engines for these other military industries. That'll allow them to ramp up faster. Alright, silk. Where are you? Here we are. Alright, so Murcia, Valencia... Just Murcia and Valencia. Alta Andalusia, Baja Andalusia, and Catalonia. Alright, so Murcia, Valencia, Catalonia, all along the Mediterranean coast, including Baja Andalusia. That one's a little debatable. Maybe not by people who are smart, but by people who are dumb, like me. Alright, so I need to encourage agricultural industry, which means I need to cut all of my consumption taxes in order to be able to afford... Well, let's see how much it costs. Encourage agricultural industry. Yeah, it's 100. I'm gonna need all of it. I'm gonna need all of it. All right. Well, it's gonna be a low tax season while we work on this other garbo. Let's go ahead and we'll keep one. We'll keep the luxury clothes one. That'll be fine. I can tolerate some high prices for a bit. The party favorites. The wing of the Conservative Party, affiliated with the petite bourgeoisie, has raised complaints about Prospero Campomanes' choice of endorsements, leaving their supporters neglected. I must levy a concern now that it has come to my attention. Whilst Prospero Campomanes' actions are undoubtedly well-intentioned, the recommendations contained thereof seem to exclude certain members of the party who have demonstrated more than sufficient vigor, goodwill, and surety of purpose. Listen to their concerns and appease the petite bourgeoisie. He becomes more popular, 20% extra momentum for the Conservatives, or appeasement, don't they know it was fully intentional? Petite bourgeoisie become weaker, armed forces stronger, slightly increased momentum for the Conservatives. I'm going to pick the second one. As little extra momentum as I can throw their way as possible will be ideal for me right now. The root of the problem. Following research into the nature of pébrine, we've successfully discovered both the fungus that is the cause of the disease and the method to prevent it from spreading through silkworm farms. We are now capable of applying the discovered methods to clear our farms of the infection. It is created there again by the bad seeds that are prepared there, or that are imported there, and the day when we raise, in a locality of great culture, only seeds deprived of corpuscles, almost all generations there will be guaranteed against pébrine, and will become, not to mention consider that this disease, clear to reproduce. Louis Pasteur. I'm getting better at this very weird line read. They really did love their run-on sentences in the 19th century. We're once more at the fore of world science. Extra prestige. Oh, we're the first. Interesting. Or share the cure with other affected nations. I'm going to go with the prestige. I like prestige. Method of mitigating the pébrine epidemic through the Encourage Agricultural Industry decree has been discovered. I've got that set up. So, Iberia, you want to give us trade privileges and investment rights in exchange for a defensive pact. That's interesting. I would be delighted. And perhaps I should rival the French? I think maybe I shall. I think perhaps I shall. Perhaps the French need a rival in these trying times. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm doing pretty well for influence. I don't really need infamy generation mitigation. Alright. Alta Andalusia. You should be close to ready to convert over your motor industries to electrical. Where were the other locations? Where were the other spots? Oh, before we do this, training method streamlining and sea lane strategies, both of those can go ahead. Alright. Motor industries. So Lucia Extremadura was the other main one. They're the ones that are still on the docket, right? Yes. Okay, alright, we're doing well. Against extremism is a major part of the electoral platform. Varfolomei Zaitsev and the leader of the Social Democratic Party have begun an aggressive campaign to distance themselves from the revolutionary socialist ideology of the Communist Party. Communism is the death of peace and the death of liberty. We must present an attractive alternative to the people, extra momentum for the Social Democrats, 2% intelligentsia member pops become more loyalist, or focus our campaign on combating the communists. They lose momentum, the Social Democrats' momentum goes up. I'm going to pick the first one here, and the reason I'm doing that is because the communists are going to win unless things go really weird and it goes the way of the conservatives, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I want to avoid depleting their momentum too much. Because a minority government can work. The Russians and the Americans are planning to shoot at each other over Mombasa. That's quite curious. I wonder what could become of this. I can only side with the Russians, but they wouldn't be interested in having my support. That's rather silly of them, if I do say so myself. Prussia sides with Russia. Do we have a front in India still? Doesn't look like it. Alright, so we'll bring Global Defense Force to France, where the better part of the battle is happening. We'll do the same thing with the 2nd Home Guard. I should leave them at home, but I'm silly. Nah, you know what? We'll station them in Iberia. No reason to rock the boat. How are we doing cash flow-wise? We're doing just fine. Okay, we finished out... our additional construction industry. Interesting. An absent mind. There have been reports of Teofilo Braga, leader of the intelligentsia, not attending meetings or fulfilling his obligations. We can no longer ignore his absence. Braga barely even responds when we call his name. A blank stare. He doesn't blink. Let's go for a walk, we tell him, and he nods in silence, and in silence we walk. So he's our aged leader of the intelligentsia. A doctor needs to see him. He loses his psychological affliction and loses some popularity. Or he can get the help he needs in an asylum, he dies. Intelligentsia will be mad about that. I'm going to just go with a doctor needs to see him, because he can lose his psychological affliction, that's great. Whistle Stop Tour. Francisco Manuel de Melo Brainer intends to travel across the Azores by train to campaign for the Progressive Party. All I intend to do is present myself to the people. I'm just a simple man, trying to get our party's message out by the best means available. Campaigning by rail is a smart move, extra momentum for the progressives, stressed railway network, reduced railway throughput, or would be a shame if that train kept suffering delays, 20% momentum subtracted, and big ol' penalty to railway throughput. I'm going to do the second one. The Azores are fine. They're doing just fine. It's these islands, right? Yeah. How is the price of transport here? Hope it's not too bad. Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. They got exactly what they need. Alright, we're continuing to press forward in France. My war support is doing just fine. France no longer has war support protection. So, this war should basically be in the bag. And that is going to be a divided France, which is going to make life really, really interesting. I have one unpinned journal entry. La Belle Époque. Oh, interesting. I didn't even know I had that. Combustion engine unlocked. Wonderful. Let's build some cars. How much motor demand is there in our country? Not much. Or wait, hold on. Demand there's a lot. So let's go ahead. These ones in Extremadura are almost finished, so we'll swap those over to electric engines. And now all of our motor industries are using the electric engines method, which is nice. So I'm going to use the construction interface to build ourselves an automotive industry. This is going to require a lot. Victoria 3 is running very slowly right now. Hopefully it's not crashing. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. Let's build them in Castilla Nueva. We'll just build a nice even 10 levels, and we'll see how that does things. The defender of decency, Johor, has fallen to a revolution amongst the rural folk. In the campaign materials of the Conservative Party, Arnau Espinosa has immediately denounced the rural folk here, preempting a similar revolt. You would name me a traitor? Of that I am certain you are. Many abroad in Johor would think similarly to you. Let's just say you are not a traitor already, plotting sedition with the members of your book club. You've gone mad. Someone must stand against the revolutionary tide, extra momentum for the Conservatives, rural folk salty. Johor is far away, and this is here. Reduce momentum for the Conservatives, industrialists angry and weaker, or the revolution will not be villainized. Extra momentum for the communists, industrialists significantly angrier and weaker. I'm going to go with the third one. That'll get us some extra momentum by way of the Communist Party. And that'll be nice. Oil in Houseland. Ooh, nice. We do need some amount of oil. I just enabled a method that uses more oil. Let's take a quick look at trade policy. There was something I needed to do in trade policy. Let me see. Let me see, let me see, let me see. You know what it was? It was... I'm going to sort by good. It was glass. I have an export subvention on glass, and that's making glass very expensive in my market. I'm going to balance that. Set that to no export subventions. And that's going to help me maintain a reasonable price for glass in my country. That's going to be good. So, from here, let's take a quick look at how much longer our truces are going to hang around. Another 3 years. Alright, very good. We are moving forward in France, but France is losing war support very fast now. We actually have done only a modest amount of damage to France overall. 750,000 dead and wounded, and about 750,000 for us. Not bad at all. What's the population of France right now? Their population is still right about. It's just a little less than ours, so that's doing okay. Unfortunately, we've done a lot. Actually, it's not even that much devastation. It's not even that much devastation. There's the political agitation tech. And the Communist Party have taken it. Exciting. So, let's form a government of communism. If I form a government with the Social Democrats, that's not useful. Okay, let me give that a second to reset. Because I think the Social Democrats are going to lose a bunch of support. I don't know exactly how they got so much right off the bat when they were predicted to do so poorly, but I think they're not actually... I think they don't actually have all that support. I think it's actually different. Yeah, here we go. Yes. So, yeah. So the intelligentsia have lost, and the communists have a huge... What the heck? The rural folk bailed out of the party, and now the communists are more popular. Quite curious. I could go to graduated taxation. I would make more money if I was under graduated taxation. That is very curious. Is there anywhere I need more taxation capacity? There is. In Catalonia, which is just fine because I need more government admin. Oop, I'm pushing totally the wrong button. I don't need this many. I'm going to go with 4 levels. And then let's go with, let me see. How far am I from increasing the production method? I do have central planning. I just don't have the telephone yet. So I don't want to overbuild. Let's just go ahead and grab a couple more, say here in Extremadura. And that'll be just fine. Then we'll have it. In violation of the standing binding period. Whoa, hey, whoa, what is going on with you guys? Sir. Well, I say. Starting to appear, monkey minor power you. It looks like I'm gonna have to bring you into the fold. Oh, interesting. This will put me in a war with the British, so hold on. What kind of... The British still have a pretty rock-solid navy. Naval power projection of 10,532. Let's finish our war against the French, and then we'll take a quick look at what that looks like. Because I want to look at my naval power projection. I got 1 giant fleet, and that's not the best way to fight a naval war. Pueblo National Lake. Nice. Oil and Mato Grosso. Excellent. That's very good. That's very good for us overall. Now, how's Pebring coming along? Alright, so this should Yeah, 1 year. Alright, so we need to hold on to that for now. War with France should be sorting itself out in very good time at this point. And hopefully that will not mean our army... Our army shouldn't be stuck. They should be able to get home. Because we've got a border with France. Global Defense Force, why don't you come on back? Hopefully they'll sort themselves out. If they don't sort themselves out, I'll need them to make over. Cool. Alright, and they're on their way. Beautiful. Alright, so... I don't have any ability to improve relations with Occitania because they're already as high as they could be. Britain. Are you damaging relations with me, sir? You are. You're quite notorious. Let me take a look at my naval power projection. That can't be right. 1,206. Whereas Britain's is 1,110. Alright, so I got a better navy than they got. Which is fine. Let me see, where are we with tech? We're working on steam turbine. And then we're going to be going for telephone and then radio. Once we've got radio, we'll be in a very healthy stead. Working on steam turbine right now. Which is going to mean I way overbuilt power plants, but that's okay. Power plants are fine. After that, we'll do defense in depth. We'll finish out the tier 4 militaries. And then we'll do NCO training. Let's take a quick look at what kind of military Britain has. I don't think they have one that can... They do have trench infantry, but it's not all trench infantry, and shrapnel artillery. So they have an equal military to ours, I believe. Right, because I don't have radios yet. So if I go after Britain, if I go after Sardinia and Piedmont, and they have Britain's support, that could potentially be difficult. With that having been said, I think I'm gonna risk it in hopes of being rewarded with receipt of the biscuit. Prussia I'm not at all concerned about. Russia, could be worse. But they are involved in their own war right now. So let's do it. How dare you break, how dare you break your whatevers with me. Do I still have an alliance with Austria? I do. So I could get Austria involved. If I need to get Austria involved, I will. Let me see. Now, where are the rest of our armies? Global Defense Force is stuck. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to do some finagling. We're going to put them into the Iberia... No, that's not right. We're going to put them into the First Home Guard. We're going to transfer all of them. Confirm cannot reach First Home Guard. Well, that's... Transfer the First Iberian Army. Let's do it. Alright. We'll need to reconstitute that army in a little bit. Let's, yeah, I bet. Let's get the lads together. Let me see. A positivist revolt in Austria, but only a little one. Interesting. So we'll see who gets involved here. Let's bring the fleet around. I've got frigates somehow. Let's dispense with those. Sorry, again, I've got scout cruisers unlocked. All right, there's Great Britain. All right, that's fine. Ionian Islands, Cape Colony. The whole British Empire is stepping in. With that having been said, though, that's not a tragedy. I should be able to steal some useful things from Britain with this happening. Let me see. I think I am going to call in the Austrians at this stage. they would not say yes to call allies. They'd say yes with a war goal, a return state of Venezia. Or South Tyrol. It's not ideal, either of these. What about a regime change? Regime change in Malaya. Let's take a look at Malaya here for a second. What's Malaya? This state. Rather curious, if you ask me. What a curious situation. First thing I want to do is I want to break out the... the second home guard. So we need a new transfer order. We need a smaller leader. We need... Hold on, before I do this, what's the composition of one of my home guards? Or no, it's not. It was the global defense force. All right. First, so let's go with 18, 9, and 4. That'll be reasonable. Smaller guy. 18, 9. Oop, those are mobile artillery. And 4. We'll go with 5 just for good measure. Move selected and confirmed. Alright, so now this is the Iberian Global Defense Force. Oop. Gotta get rid of that. Confirm. We'll set their mobilization. Okay, their mobilization options are correct. Could do motorized recon. Let's not do that just yet. And are they mobilized? I must hope they are. But yeah, the mobile artillery, we can cancel that. Alright, so where do we want troops? Global Defense Force. Let's put you in Africa. We'll send the Iberian Expeditionary Force to the main African front, and we'll send the second Iberian Home Guard to the tertiary front in Africa. There's a lot of fronts in Africa in this war. So what else do I want to gank from Britain is the real question now. Because I've got a lot of maneuvers. What? Oh my goodness, the infamy bug is also applied to transferring subjects. I had no idea. I had no idea. Heck it, this just became the war to steal the whole British Empire. Cape Colony, don't mind if I do. War goal, transfer British West Africa, do not mind if I do. Transfer Australia, absolutely. Let's see, what else? I got 98 more maneuvers. What else do I want? I want the Mosquito Kingdom and Guatemala. Ooh, but I also want British Congo. Let's take British Congo. I may be biting off more than I can chew here. British Senegal. I could absolutely use British Senegal. I have a return state CB. For some of my subjects. Let me see. I got 82 maneuvers. There are 2 maneuvers. Anywhere else I want to transfer, though? Anywhere obvious. Oh, British East Africa. Absolutely. British Abyssinia is also a good target. Yeah. Never mind. I think the majority of this war is actually gonna take place in Africa. So now that I'm just stealing everything from Britain. Prussia's still undecided, but I believe the Austrians can take the Prussians, but they are in a civil war right now. It would be nice to have them. You know what? We'll give them their regime change in Malaya. Is there anything else they could want? Nope, it's just they're trying to quash communism in Malaya. Alright. Let's do that. Maybe we'll get the Confederate States in here, maybe we won't. Game's running a little better now. Beautiful. So with the Austrians on that side, I can throw the 1st Iberian Army over here on a front with Sardinia-Piedmont, and that's going to be just fine. And then we'll keep our other armies to invade Britain. And that'll be nice. Obviously, we have a lot of undefended fronts. Britain's got a lot of subjects. We've also got a lot of subjects. Prussia sides with Sardinia-Piedmont. No big deal. Who else can we bring in here? Russia is definitely thinking about it. Confederate States. You want the transfer of Santo Domingo? Of course you do. But they're my very oldest subject. I don't know if that's true, but I think they basically are. So no dice, Confederate States of America. I'm sorry, it simply is what it is. So who else? Looks like the Russians are likely to side with our enemies. I think I need to develop some more small armies. So we're going to develop a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th global defense force. Mobilization options will activate all of the usual suspects. Let me just make sure that's the same as all of my other armies. Yes. Yes, it is. Alright. Create army. Da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Check it again, because I'm silly. Yes. Oh, I didn't do this one. And then one more. And we'll do that with these ones. I don't think I've currently got the military industry to support motorized recon for all armies, but it would be nice to have. So, these are just going to be 15... These are going to be 16, 8, 4 armies. Nah, these will be 20, 10, 5 armies. Alright. So, 5, 10, 15, 20. 10 and 5. Next we'll do the 8th. 20. 10 and 5. Then we'll do the 10th with 20. 10 and 5. These should all recruit very quickly. Shouldn't be any trouble recruiting these forces. We're going to need leaders. We got A petit bourgeois liberal is fine. A petit bourgeois republican is fine. And an armed forces liberal is fine. It should give them all the command capacity they need. And we'll rename these the Iberian 2nd GDF. The Iberian 3rd GDF. And the Iberian 4th GDF. Alright. And that will allow us to handle a lot more fronts as this war really gets rolling. Russia sides asserting in Piedmont. Alright, at this time I am going to step in on behalf of the Austrians against their positivist revolt. Just to make sure that that goes a way that can work. We've got a lot of fronts which are undefended, but I feel reasonably confident in my abilities at this stage because we've got so very much overall force we can bring to bear that I'm a little, I might even be called comically unconcerned. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll in with an army straight into Britain, and that's going to make things a whole lot easier. Alright. Iberian 3rd Global Defense Force has just finished mobilizing, or has just gotten its first unit, so they're now mobilized. 2nd Global Defense Force should be soon developing its first troop. What's this? Oh, that's held by Austria for some reason. Interesting. Quite curious. Alright. We can mobilize, and then take a look at the 4th Iberian Global Defense Force. And again, mostly the goal here is to just make sure that Austria stays in the war and viable. Because basically, I think what we're going to do is we're going to move the Iberian 1st Home Guard over here. Actually, I think once they get there, this army is going to go live somewhere else. And we're going to rely on these new forces and, for the moment, our primary army, 1st Iberian Army, I believe this is 2nd Iberian Army, to defend Iberia proper. Right, these forces are getting built. They don't have a lot of organization right now, but they're getting there. They're getting there. We need to mobilize these fellows as soon as possible. I may need to throw in more war goals just to delay the startup of the war for this army to get ready. The game is running very slowly. And there we go now. So that's fine. So, let's put this army... So what front is this? This is between Russia and Austria. So this is going to be really the main front. So we're actually going to take the 1st Iberian Army, put them over here. That's really going to make Russia... That's really going to put Russia in a bad way. We'll finish that out. I think I want to add more forces to the 2nd Iberian Army. Does that make sense, or do I actually want to build... I want to build a 2nd Iberian Expeditionary Force. That's actually what I want to do. So, call you the 1st Iberian Expeditionary Force. Don't have enough space, so rename you 1st Iberian X-Force. That's probably not trademarked by anyone. Alright. So let's see. What's our pattern here? 85, we got 45, 30, and 10. That's fine. Create an army. Situate them in Iberia. Mobilization options, all of the usual suspects. Commander, we got an armed forces liberal, that's fine. A trade unionist, excellent. A charismatic trade unionist liberal. How would you like to lead things? This government does not practice any form of corruption. You're a field marshal now. Alright, so what was our pattern? Again, 45, 30, and 10. Rename this X-Force. Second Iberian X-Force. 45, 30, and 10. I'm actually not going to build them up quite that much. I'm going to do 30, 20... I'm going to do 30, 20, and 5. No, I'm going to do 35, 25, and 5. So 35, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 25, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 5. And what this unit is going to do is they're going to assist on heavier, tougher fronts. Once they're able to get mobilized, there's the Austrian positivist revolt kicked off. Which I am involved in. Do I send this army there very briefly? I think perhaps I do. Just for a minute. Nah, that situation seems sorted out. Maybe what I'll do is I'll grab the 4th Global Defense Force, and I'll put them on this undefended front of the Austrian Positivist Revolt, and they'll be able to sort of sort themselves out as time goes by. Now, do I want to add more war goals? I think I certainly do. What else do I wish to seize? I could seize Overlordship of Tigray. That's a tempting target. Perhaps I shall. Transfer subject. Where is Tigray? Get me Tigray. So that's escalation paused for 14 days. I can do this as many times as I wish. Just need to get this force having a unit or two in it. I don't think this will be a problem. Let me make sure that I haven't strained my military industry too significantly. Come on, Vicky 3. Ah, they're fine. In fact, I'm doing a lot of exportation of military goods, which is pretty cool. Alright, 2nd Iberian X-Force. Do you have units yet? Not yet. They're working on it. That's a process. Okay, here we go. Mobilize. Mobilize! Alright, so... escalation is ongoing, so I could add another war goal to this whole affair. What if I simply stole, What if I stole Guyana? I don't think stealing Guyana would be viable. Actually, yeah, because that's actually going to cause an amount of real infamy. Again, this... Whatever caused this bug... maybe this will be fine as soon as there's another, I could get Liberia. Oh, Liberia is tiny. Gotta say, it's tempting. And now I'm down into Russia's ones. Do I want to... No, I want to get this war started. On the other hand, I am buying time for Austria to finish out their revolt. By doing this very silly thing that I'm doing. You know what? We'll transfer Gaza. That's what we'll do. I realize I'm pulling them into the war, and that's not wise, but, you know, it's wise on the long scale, maybe? I am not a very smart cat. is what that's the takeaway here. That's what you should be. That's what you should be getting out of this. Is that I am not a smart cat. I am just a cat who enjoys playing video games. The Steam Omnibus. With government regulations on mechanically propelled vehicles loosening and more efficient steam engines being developed, steam-powered transport buses have begun to roam Castilla Nueva with greater frequency. The motor omnibuses are steam-propelled, and what is of importance in the town of the character of Toledo are entirely free from smell, noise, and vibration. These machines will drive the growth of our cities, 5% urban center throughput, or taxing vehicles will provide some needed revenue, starts to collect consumption taxes on automobiles. I think I will do the second one. That's costing me a bunch of authority, which is pissing off my interest groups. Should have realized that would happen. Are they at least producing any cash flow? Not a huge amount, but once we're done with our with Pebrine, we'll be good to go. This should sort itself out pretty soon. I'm just kind of running slowly right now because, yeah, we're getting into our war here. All right, 2 arms. This looks like it's a big war. It's not that big of a war. I'm going to show you why. Because in 15 days, we'll be in the home counties, and after that, we'll be home by Christmas. All right, how is our Sunda Isles are blockaded? What do I give it? What do I give a gosh dang about that? All right, so I'm going to send the 2nd Iberian X-Force to southern Africa to see if they can't make good an advance there. And then 3rd Global Defense Force, we're going to move in here. Starvation where? Can I mouse over this Iberian Vanuatu? Oh man, I'm gonna have to use a function I rarely use. Where's the finder? Vanuatu. Over here. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna deal with that. Not I'm not gonna be able to. I'm just not gonna. I've got bigger fish to fry. Alright, looks like the press forward in Russia is going just fine. Where's my 2nd X-Force? Oh, you're the ones that's into the south. Okay, that was dumb. That was dumb. You're coming back here. And I'll tell you why in a second. 2nd Global Defense Force. You're going to the south. To Africa. Hopefully, as these fronts in Western Africa get freed up, those other armies can be doing that. But the 2nd Iberian X-Force is actually going to Britain. Because we've got sufficient naval support here, and if we can go fast, Britain is going to be out of this war, and then I'm going to be able to steal all the stuff I want to steal from Britain. And then a lot of the other parts of this thing are not going to matter. Naval invasion of Valencia, that's okay. We've got an army there to repulse it. Repulse it, I say. Repulsate tones. Okay, these fronts have merged. So 1st Iberian Army, you need to go to them. And 4th Global Defense Force, you need to simply finish out. I'm going to give you a promotion because the same thing that happened to the other armies is going to happen there. Let's touch base with this fleet. I want to make sure these naval battles are wins for us. It looks like they are. Alright, we're doing well for now. This ground battle should also be a win. Yep, looking good. You need to keep a sharp eye on that situation. Again, Pebrine should be sorted out. If Pebrine isn't sorted out by the end of the year, we're going to have a headache. Alright, the enemy's bringing troops back, but I'm bringing more troops in, so that should be fine. How are things going in West Africa? They're going quite well. And this army is almost here. Alright, perfect. So that army should be able to handle that area for now. Looks like that front is handled. This front is a little bit bad, but the 4th Global Defense Force will be able to support them once they're finished with the southern part of the Iberian Positivist Revolt. Naval battles are still going well. Land battles are still going well. Come on, get him, get him, get him, get him. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Positivist Revolt should be sorted out soon. And we're in Britain. Alright, beautiful. So at this point, we're going to swap one of you from blockading to organizing convoys. Extra casualties taken. I'm hoping that doesn't cause a problem. Alright, and now force comparison on the northern front of Austria feels pretty good. Oop. I thought there was no track, and then there was a track. Alright, we're just going to defend this naval invasion in Valencia, no big deal. And now Britain's going to have to scramble a bunch of forces back to Britain if she's going to keep herself alive. We'll transfer this army down to South Africa, and that will help us to keep winning on that front. I'm really not worried about the Sardinia Piedmont front. In fact, the Sardinia Piedmont front seems like the front of least significance at this stage, actually. Like many wars. Beautiful. So there's the Austrian Positivist Revolt crushed. We'll send these fellas to the Sardinia Piedmont situation. Again, not that big of a deal. Are we successfully defending this naval invasion? We are. They made some progress, interestingly, but I think we're successfully defending, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. Second Home Guard. There is a front over here, and you are on it. Alright, beautiful. It's fine. It's just fine. Let me see. Working on British Congo. Very good. And as we get rolling here, how are things going in Britain? Britain is the front that matters. We are making some good, healthy progress. Come on, finish with Pebrine so that I can ungoober my finances. Not that my finances are particularly goobered, frankly. Oh man, this is going to be buck wild. I'm going to be I'm going to have a huge global empire. It's going to be silly. I stole Canada. I stole a ton of other. I stole most of Africa. I'm gonna have a war of stealing most of Africa. We're doing a Hearts of Iron war over here. That's what's happening. We're doing a Hearts of Iron war over here. A war of stealing everything. Let's take a look at where Britain's war support is. They're going down pretty quick, which is good. I'm feeling pretty good about that. We've got the West Country. We're continuing to move forward. At the Battle of Chelmsford, soon we'll have East Anglia, and that'll be nice. This front seems to continue to be well held. And now, actually, the front in Sardinia Piedmont is moving forward very handily. So that's very good. Now, have other people added war goals against Austria? They have. Alright, beautiful. So, both Prussia and Austria have. These fellows have. So, and does Britain have war support protection? Shouldn't have gone to that screen. I don't know why I would have gone to that screen. They do not. Alright, beautiful. So, that means I should be able to get basically everything I desire from Britain once they are successfully beaten in this war. Iberian Second Home Guard, you can go to... Put you in the South African front? No. I think I put you on the Persia front. Because Persia's moving forward over there, and I don't like that. I wouldn't want to cause too much devastation in Turkey, you see. Turkey, my loyal subject. My loyal subject who has never, ever raised a problem. Sean States is in default, but that doesn't really affect me. Actually, maybe... Nah, I'm gonna protect Turkey. That's the plan. That continues to be the plan. Whew, there's a lot going on in the world, and I am not paying attention to most of it. The United States and the Confederate States are shooting at each other. Oh my. Well, look at all this. They're both cocky and confident. That's curious. It would be absolutely nutty of me to try to fight a civil war in the United States at the same time as I'm doing this. That would be positively stupid. That would be absolutely silly if I tried to do that. There would be absolutely no reason. No sane cat would try to fight a war in the United States at the same time as they're already fighting a war in Britain with half the world. Only a mad cat would do this. Only a mad cat. Because they're both going for huge swathes of each other. So here's the calculus, okay? United States is currently the number 4 great power. Confederate States is currently the 9th power. The Confederate States getting stronger at the expense of the United States is potentially actually quite good. Oh my goodness, they're just going for Arkansas, and all the others of these are revoked claims CBs. I'm going to need to keep an eye on that. Pebrine should be good to go. If Pebrine isn't good to go at the end of the year, I'm going to cancel all these other things, and I'm going to do that stuff. I'm going to focus on other stuff. They're holding Nova Scotia as a subject. That would be extremely funny. Liberate New England! Oh my gosh, I could balkanize the United States. I'm getting really stupid and greedy here. And this isn't sensible, but also, I really, really want to do it. How close is Britain to being capitulated? Let's go one more week, and then we'll see how they're doing. And Paulista as well. They're still at -0. Let's get a little bit further in the week. So they're at -4. So they're losing 4 war support per week. So this is only... If this goes like this, it's only like 40 more weeks. I've got war support protection because we're successfully defending Serbia. Austria does because we're defending Brandenburg. So I've got this. You know what? Obviously the enemy is winning a little bit in South America, but I'm winning in Africa, and I'm winning in Britain, and Britain is the place that matters. You know what? We're gonna be a mad cat about this. Could I break off a chunk of the USA? Not a chunk that I want. Snag California. No, that would be silly. Who else is going to go somewhere in this war before I get involved? Nobody's really interested in stepping in. Forced nationalization. It's 15 building levels. Okay, that's not really useful. Steal a subject, but that's not really useful. Ooh. What if I steal back Rio Grande? Do I have a return CB for Rio Grande? No, I do not. I'm doing it. We're going for the Conquer CB on Rio Grande. Alright, and this is now our war as well. So, let's go ahead and grab the second Iberian X-Force. We'll put them over here on the America front. That's going to very mildly dilute our force here in Great Britain, but I'm not really worried about that. I genuinely think I have the capacity to win all these wars at once, even though I'm a nutty cat. USA only has 25 flotillas. It'll be fine. It'll be just fine. 4th GDF, you have low org. Oh, you're somewhere in here. What are you doing in Baden? Go to Sardinia Piedmont, you goobers. Come on, come on. Oh. Is this Britain bailing out of the war? Heck yes. Whew. All right, hold on. We're just letting the game load. We're just letting the game load for a second as a whole bunch of things happen. Whew. Okay, so Canada. Let's be better friends. British, Iberian East Africa. Let's be better friends. Iberian Congo. Let's be better friends. I'm gonna reduce subject payments. Reduce subject payments. Gonna reduce subject payments. Iberian Congo. Cape Colony. I can't improve relations. Oh, I don't have the Ghiblies. Well, Great Britain. We were once friends. Now we are rivals. France were also rivals. This might be extremely greedy. So, Iberian Abyssinia, reduce subject payments, obviously. Improve relations. Tigray, improve relations, reduce subject payments. Cape Colony will improve relations. Iberian Congo, we're good. East Africa. The other Iberian Congo will improve relations. Iberian Senegal. Reduce subject payments, improve relations. Canada. Reduce subject payments. Oh, that's good cash flow. Australia. Reduce subject payments. Improve relations. I believe that's all our new subjects. Or no, Gaza. Gaza, let's improve relations. Alright, so now Britain is no longer in the war, and so the second Iberian army can just go to America. Woo! I really cowabunged that one. I really finagled that one, but good. Persia, well fought. Alright, well, we're definitely successfully pushing forward in Sardinia Piedmont now. Is this war... Is there anything this war is still about? Nice. It's at least a mass migration. Alright. And the front in America looks good. So I think I'm feeling good. I think I'm feeling really good. Let's go ahead and move our fleet to the coast of America. And you know what? Maybe we'll do ourselves a little blockade. Maybe we'll do a little blockading right now. Maybe we'll just blockade a little, just a little bit of blockade as a treat. And the front in Austria seems like it's actually looking really good. Doesn't seem like the enemy is able to make any headway. Again, we're going towards Baden, a thing that I don't really understand, but is definitely a thing that is happening. If we actually get Piedmont at this point, that might lead to a front splittage, but I hope it will not. Oh, nope, there we go. We got, or no, we don't fully have Western Switzerland yet. There's the war with the USA kicking off, which is just fine. With us, a donation of knowledge. Alfredo da Silva has offered to spend some of their personal wealth to fund the creation of a university in Islas Canarias, though this will likely give the industrials some influence. The Alfredo da Silva University will be a proud bastion of learning in these times of rapid progress, where knowledge truly is power. A wonderful idea, they get slightly stronger, and we get a free level 1 university in Islas Canarias. Or no, we can't give them a platform, they get salty. How are the industrials feeling? They're a little salty. You know what? A wonderful idea. I love me a free university, my nerds. That's just how it goes. And what event is this? An exile at the gates. The relatively lenient Iberian immigration system has long been attractive to those fleeing their home nations. Recently, Arabella Marshall, a feminist aligned with the petite bourgeoisie, a Scot, has petitioned to join the stream of people moving to the Iberian Federation. It was one name on a very, very long list, one that had passed through multiple layers of bureaucracy before being noticed. One fateful day, however, one clerk at the end of his shift pointed at that name and spoke those fatal words. That's where I've heard of her before. Eventually, Arabella Marshall, too, will be Iberian. She becomes blood in Iberia. Or we will not have someone like this regardless of precedent, salty industrialists. I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to bring her in. It's almost the end of the year, and if, again, I said if it hits the end of the year and I don't have the ability to swap over to, I don't have the end of Pebrine, I'm giving up. First Iberian X-Force is no longer doing anything. We'll send them to the American front. What is this? This is a naval invasion of Mexico by Prussia. Well, that's fine. You do that. Unconventional guest. The Anti-Russian Association has been frequently hosting Varfolomei Zaitsev as an honored guest and speaker. Interesting. This is now drawing the attention of Russian officials. Varfolomei Zaitsev commands the attention of all in attendance. Leaders of the Anti-Russian Association welcome Zaitsev's political acumen. Lobby members remark on this fortuitous association. With Varfolomei Zaitsev in our ranks, we can expose all the artifice employed by Russia. I like that. So that's interesting. We've achieved a kind of multicultural anti-Russianism, which is against the Russian government, but is still tolerant of and even happy to have Russians who share that same view. Perhaps these salons should not meet so frequently, reduce their appeasement by one. Or Zaitsev is very knowledgeable, deteriorates relations with Russia. I'm going to pick that second one. That's fine. We're at war with Russia. It is what it is. There's a little front in here about something. I got a rebellion going on in Turkey. Alright, Russia has bailed out of the war now. I feel the First Iberian Army would be of better use defending Turkey. feel Austria is more than capable of handling Prussia by themselves. Continent of Opportunity. And this is a Greek uprising in Turkey. Continent of Opportunity. Colonists having moved to Guinea, hoping to build a new life in the Iberian Federation's new African territories, are struggling to survive in the unfamiliar environment. If it was only the temperature and the weather, we could manage. If it was not also the flora, the fauna, and the soil, which were so wholly alien to our customs. We knew we would be on the frontier of a new chapter of Iberian history, but if there is to be anything more than a footnote, the assistance we've received thus far is woefully lacking. Supply them with what they need costs a huge amount of money. Colonial administration should assist them, costs 10 bureaucracy. Or the African colonies are for survivors, not charity cases, reduce colony growth speed. I'm going to do the middle one, 10 bureaucracy is nothing. That's fine. That's just fine. And then I got some armies in the south here that can come back to Iberia. This war really went swimmingly, I must say. Although, is this going to end when... Ooh. Yes, because Austria has no war goals against Prussia. So this war is going to end as soon as Sardinia-Piedmont is no longer interested in fighting, which shouldn't be much longer now at this stage, given that they've only got... Given that they're pincered in their own territory. So I'm feeling reasonably confident. I might even say I'm feeling unreasonably confident, but you know, people talk. Java. There's Prussia and there's Sardinia-Piedmont. All right, so that war is finished. What is this? This is the Netherlands against Java. All right, so Java is a country now. Interesting. Cool. Curious. We'll bring our global defense forces back to Iberia. And now it's just us against the Americans, and then the Greek uprising over here. Do I have these armies positioned correctly? I don't think I do. I think the first Iberian army needs to go here, defending against the main front, and then the second force can be over on the Dodecanese. Although it looks like there's nobody in the Dodecanese, so we'll actually put this army at the main front. And how are things going over here in this war? So, okay, all right. So the Confederacy is also conquering Oklahoma. They're actually not conquering all that much, but they're doing a lot of revoked claim CBs, which is just fine with me. I just got a protectorate over Sardinia-Piedmont, so let's be better friends. And let me take a little time to look at my list of subjects, now that I've got a very large number of subjects. So we'll sort by subject type. Puppets, we have 20. We have Argentina, Chile, Costa Rica, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Morocco, New Grenada, Nicaragua, Orania, Peru, Bolivia, Santo Domingo, and Serbia. So those are all previous subjects. And oh no, Sokoto, Otoa, and Tensuyu. So Tigray is one of the ones we've taken. They're a principality. And then Turkey and Venezuela. Okay, all right. So the only new puppet we've got is Tigray. And then for protectorates, we've got Gaza and Sardinia-Piedmont. They're both going down in Liberty Desire at a very healthy clip. And then for colonies now, we've got Australia, Canada. It's Canada. Canada's going down at a relatively good clip in Liberty Desire. Cuba, which you have before, Iberian Abyssinia, Iberian Congo, Iberian East Africa, Iberian Senegal, which is not going down at Liberty Desire. Fervor of Iberian Senegalese cultures. Primary cultures. Perhaps... Now, Iberian Congo, that's the same, but the other Iberian Congo, we're not getting that line item because the other Iberian Congo is Iberian speaking. So what we need to do in Iberian Senegal is change the language of the administration. Iberian South Africa, they're going down as well. They are getting that fervor bonus, so we'll need to reduce them as well. And Sierra Leone, they're going down at a very healthy clip. Okay, so Iberian Senegal. We're going to change language of the administration. So here's what that's going to do. 10%. There's our Greek uprising in Turkey. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Change language of administration. 10% of English and Scottish pops become more radical. English and Scottish stop being primary cultures of Iberian Senegal, and instead, primary cultures are Portuguese, Catalan, Aragonese, Asturianese, Galician, and Basque. They get a penalty to bureaucracy and institution size change speed for 5 years. 5% of English Protestant bureaucrats will assimilate into the Basque culture, and it'll get 75% extra assimilation. Let's do it! Huzzah! Haha! You thought you had a labor movement before. Alright, now they're going down in Liberty Desire. Excellent. I am probably going to do the same with the rest of these countries when the time comes. One thing I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to change the language of the administration of Iberian Abyssinia, and the reason I'm doing that is because I am going to hand a bunch of this territory over to Tigray. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want Tigray to form Ethiopia. I can't grant them a state because we're in the middle of a war. 2 wars, in fact. Which is just fine. I'm reasonably confident. Ooh, Amazonian Communist Revolt. I could offer support to Amazonia. On the other hand... Okay, the year has passed, and my my encourage agricultural industry has not gotten rid of Paybreen, so I'm going to stop worrying about this, because I need to make my economy not be silly anymore. Alright, services we need. We were doing fruit before. The cars one is very productive, but fruit would be even more so. So, we'll tax fruit instead of cars. It is what it is. Now, I have some bureaucracy shortages, but we're very close to having the telephone, so I'm going to leave those be for the time being, and that'll be fine. We're doing much better financially, but we're going to need to build a lot more stuff, because we just got a whole mess of countries into our market, and they want a lot of things. We're definitely going to need some more automotive industries to support the amount of cars we desire. So let's go ahead and get those building. Well, the ones in Castilla la Vieja have certainly been productive. Where have we got a good amount of labor available? Galicia is a good spot. Alright, we'll do 10 levels in Valencia and 10 levels in Galicia. And that'll be nice. That'll put us in a much clearer visual to how our stuff is developing. Our supply and demand and whatnot. Talk to me. Oil rush subsides. With the groundwork of the Ivory Coast oil industry complete, its appeal and promise is waning among those seeking to carve out their own fortune. The nature of these operations is that eventually a few people will hold all the cards. The industry lives on, but our hands are played. You are not among the few. Alright, so... but oil will last forever. This is oil rush forced on. Some continuing penalties for oil industries, including 30% employee mortality, employee standard of living -1, Oil industry employees plus 50%. Reduce migration traction, extra oil extractors throughput, or shuffle the expertise into manufacturing. 10% manufacturing industries throughput. I'm going to pick the second one. That just seems sensible. I bet at Puck will complete if we lead through 10 years as a cultural and technological capital of the world. We'll fail if our capital is being invaded or we lose it. Interesting. So, I can't tell if we're making progress here or not. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. War against the United States is going very well. Let's grab the 1st Iberian Army. Move them to the front. We'll take the 2nd Iberian Home Guard and we'll put them back in here. Actually... temptation is extremely high to simply allow the Confederacy to finish out its war by itself. Because I think my armies are going to get stuck over there if I allow them to continue to be over there. But, you know, I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure they can sort themselves out. And after that, we'll take a look at where we are falling on the whole affair of... what should happen is my fellows should all go to Rio Grande, which I'll be able to hand over to Mexico, and that'll be just reasonable because that's where Rio Grande is. It's part of Mexico, or was a long time ago, and will be so again, hopefully. Now, does the USA have war support protection? They do not. Because the other side, because the Confederacy is holding all their war goals. Beautiful. So that means this war should get done very, very quickly, actually. At this stage. I should do other economic development while I'm doing this. So let's take a look at the market. We need more art, my nerds. How is luxury furniture expensive? That never happens at this point in the game. Where's furniture? It's over here. Alright, so furniture is also expensive. We're importing furniture. Ridiculous. Get out of here with that. Building our own furniture, gosh darn it. So there's that. Art. Art was what I was thinking about. Where do we have arts academies? Ooh, can we make movies yet? Do we have the technology? We do not, but we could. But I can't solve... That's not a short-term solution to an art shortage. So let's go ahead and start improving the size of our arts academies. Could go to the electric sewing machine. Could go to elastics. Gonna need to do both of those at once, though, and that's gonna be awkward. Let me see. Where are our arts academies? Why don't I use the filters? It's because I'm silly. It's because I'm so freaking silly is what it is. Oh, man. Vicky 3's running real slow today, my nerds. So, let's see. Let's build some arts academies in Beira, some more in Catalunya, some more in Extremadura, some more in Extremadura, and we'll do a bunch more in Antredoro and Minho. Let me see, that's basically a 30% increase. That should cover what's needed. Luxury furniture we're doing alright on. We're still really producing tons and tons. We're still got a really high demand for engines. But we're producing a lot with our motor industries, so Let's go ahead and build up some more levels in Alta Andalusia and some more levels in Castilla la Nueva. We still need more glass. How is porcelain? Porcelain's doing okay. We're exporting a ton of it. We're still importing some silk, but it's a Iberian epidemic. What are you going to do? Oh, that's probably why our clothes industry is a little goofy. So, what is the world market like for porcelain? What's the world market like? They need a lot of engines. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. So we're a big engine producer right now. We're a huge car producer. We're a big art producer. We're a huge steel producer. We're a big munitions producer. A lot of glass on the world market, actually. Porcelain. Where is porcelain? Hold on. Show me porcelain. Okay, so there's some porcelain production. Many countries are trying to outcompete in the world market on porcelain. I do have another steel method, but it's the electric arc method, and that is just so very power intensive. You know what? It's time. It's time to get our power plants on steam power. Now, what was the other thing I was going to do? So that'll give me a lot more power to play with. And let's... Right, I was going to build up an electrics industry, and to do that, I need to make sure that I got the telephone, and I do. Whew! Sorry, that was quick. So, let's build up an electrics industry in Castilla la Nueva. Castilla la Vieja. We'll build 10 levels here. And we'll build another 10 levels in País Vasco. And that should give us all the electrics we need. And then we can get some of our bureaucracy converted over. Just all the places where we've got an insufficiency of taxation capacity. Just get those going first. Alright. All of this seems good. I am going to pull my armies back. Because at this point, I do not think the United States will be able to turn the tide. And again, I just don't want these armies to get stuck here with something silly happening. These fellows are in the middle of a battle. But I've also got, I think, a lot of subject forces stuck here, so... dug in here. Hopefully when this battle finishes, we'll be able to get going. I'm holding my breath here, but I shouldn't be. This battle could take forever. It's still going. It's still going. Gosh, dang it. This battle is still happening. We've got another front up here. Now, that's very, very weird. Rubber and Jalisco. Excellent. That's exciting. It's a good time to be Mexico. Jalisco's in Mexico. I've outed myself as someone who doesn't really know Mexican geography really well. No, I'm pretty certain Jalisco's in Mexico. Alright, hold on. Hold on. Event situation. Just finish. Give me a second. Alright, beautiful. We'll get this army on their way back to Iberia. We'll get the navy all the way back to Iberia. Now, Smoke and Cabaret. The opening of a luxurious cabaret at the foot of Montmartre Hill has made the nightlife of Paris considerably lively, attracting, of course, the attention and suspicion of the conservatives. The woman sighs throughout the report in a smoke-induced room. Incense and cigarettes are indistinguishable, so is vapor, even though it's impossible to know where it's coming from. The music is muffled here, thick as syrup. Thank you for the company on these cold nights, she purrs, tossing the document into the fire. We were in need of some extra fuel. That place has it all. Increased urban center throughput and reduced authority. Or this immoral joint shall be shut down at once. Reduced bureaucracy, increased authority. I'm going to pick the second one. It's going to goof up my bureaucracy, but it's going to give me just enough authority to throw in one more consumption tax. Now, when this war ends, which it will very, very shortly, am I going to have are my armies going to demobilize? I think the answer might be no, because I'm in a diplomatic play here in Iberian Senegal. But okay, no, they didn't. I'm going to need to manually demobilize them. Alright, so, first things first. First Iberian army, demobilize. Second Iberian X-Force, demobilize. First Iberian X-Force, demobilize. First Iberian Global Defense Force, we're going to Second Iberian Army, demobilize. Right, this is a little risky, but I think it'll be fine. I've got treaties with a lot of major, any major powers I could really be wanting to have. Now, Bahia, you're in the midst of a civil war, which is just fine with me. Because it's going to be time for me to go after Amazonia before too long. Belgium wants a treaty. Trade privileges for investment rights? Sure. I love investing. My investment pool is very full at this stage. Still advancing through the Belle Epoque, which is very good. So in a few months, I'll be able to demobilize these other armies. At the moment, I'm just keeping things steady for now, just while I handle the Senegalese proletarian revolt. Hopefully, I can get this knocked out, and then we won't have to deal with any other stuff. If I can get this, if I can get it knocked out, can I colonize these little areas? No, it doesn't seem like it. Great Britain got the rest of Papua New Guinea, but that's okay. These things happen. Visitors from the colonies. Intellectuals from Nama are visiting our capital, arguing the case that their home country is far more civilized than we make it out to be, and that our colonial designs on them are unjustified. It is quite baffling, I must say, to hear you speak of being robbed, when the Iberian Federation brings you the greatest gift of all, the gift of civilization. The Nama gentleman leaned in and responded bitterly. I've seen the ships that arrive at our shores, and I've seen the ships that leave. The civilization you are bringing must be very light, but the price we pay for it seems to be quite heavy indeed. It's all affectation and lies. Send them back immediately. Trade unions and intelligentsia unhappy. Increase tensions with the Nama by 20. Or perhaps there's some value in hearing their perspective. Reduce colony growth speed. Are we still growing colonies anywhere? Do I even have the ability to see that? I don't think so. So, you know, perhaps there's some value in hearing their perspective. Decrease tensions by 10. It's just a, you know, a moral thing. Alright, rubber discovered in Oaxaca, that's nice. Is Brazil still a major? No, they're a minor. Alright, so we're going to be going after them next. Do they have an army? A little. Yes, a little one. And our electrics industries are in progress. We'll leave our armada where it is for now, because I think we're gonna have to fight one of our small wars here before we before we upgrade our fleets once again. So, this war is going to kick off. Perhaps it will simply sort itself out. I think it will sort itself out within within a reasonable time frame. It's going to be a little bit slower. Our force comparison isn't perfect here, but I'm hoping that once it does, our armies will just be able to happily demobilize. Now, let's take a quick look at where we're short on taxation capacity. So Alta Andalusia, Entre Douro y Minho, and Beira. Oh no, that's obstinance. These areas are taxation capacity. Alright, so we'll grab our government sectors here, and we'll swap them over to telephone switchboards. Alta Andalusia will do the same. And then we'll throw all these electrics industries at the top of the queue. And that's going to produce all of the bureaucratic capacity we could possibly need. Hopefully this war will sort itself out within a reasonable time frame. Looks like it will. We are at 26% occupation. Actually, now is a good time to get motor recon set up for my armies. And do I want to also give them motor transport? I think the answer is yes. Well, I was all the way at the bottom. That was dumb. That was dumb. That's okay, though. It's okay. This army is will be very able to do what it needs to do. So obviously this is going to create huge demand for motor vehicles, but that should not be a problem. I should be producing plenty, and I certainly am. So how are telephones in the market? They're okay. We don't have quite enough electricity source, but we'll do more. Alright, beautiful. So that has ended our full mobilization. And we're very solidly in first place now. We're double where Great Britain is. So I'm feeling very, very confident in my ability to do all of the things I could possibly wish to do. And the first thing on that list is we're going to make Brazil a protectorate. We have been improving relations. Prussia is going to step in, but I don't think they can really do anything about it. So, yeah, it's going to be really chill. I'm going to send the first Iberian expedition force to the only front. And that should be more than enough strength to actually allow us to do whatever we wish to do. Oh, by the way, I forgot I can't grant states during a diplomatic war. That's okay. That's okay. That's on me. I've made that mistake before, and I will probably make it again. Now, most of this telephone demand is from POPs, yes? Yeah. POPs and trade centers. That's interesting. Oh, right, because I'm like, what do trade centers need with telephones? They're selling them to other people, you goober. You big dummy. You big dummy. Communist revolt in Greece. Prussia sides with Brazil. Don't care. Really couldn't possibly care less. We'll mobilize a home guard force. Actually, I am going to mobilize the second X-Force just because, you know, they'll probably send some troops as well. And there is the Belle Epoque. Is there an event? Doesn't seem like it. That's curious. Oh, Sagrada Family Cathedral hold on. Ooh, it's popping off in Occitania. What do I need in order to build this? I need pneumatic tools. Occitania, talk to me. What are you? You're a communist revolt. Well, that's interesting. That certainly is interesting. I'd certainly love to be involved. But I can't be, because I have a truce with Occitania until May of 1913. Which is fine. It's fine, I'm not mad. I'm going to mobilize one more army just for home defense. The second Home Guard. This force comparison actually isn't as good as I thought. Let's go ahead and mobilize a couple more armies. And, you know, maybe we'll do a naval invasion to top it off. Actually, anything else I want to do? Oh, you know what? Where's banned slavery? Enforce treaty article. Enforce law commitment. Ban slavery, you goobers. That's gonna cost me 10 infamy? Never mind. I'll make them ban slavery. Do you hear that too? The invention of the telephone has opened the door to great improvements in our communications, or in our electricity industry. A shiver ran down the assistant's spine when he thought he was hearing his master's voice in that cold, dusty cellar. Do you understand what I say? The man stopped, almost dropping the wooden plank he was carrying. Dimly lit by the candles carefully placed around the revolutionary device, half machine, half human. Yes. Come here immediately. We have something in our hands, kid. This can improve communications, extra progress for radio. This would get radio done right now, I believe. Or just write a letter, electricity is for the industry, extra electric industries throughput. I'm going to get radio right away. That's very good. So there's radio. And now we're working on military tech. Briefly. So with that converted over, we should be able to convert another government admin over to telephone switchboards, and that should be just fine. Is I producing sufficient bureaucracy, or do I need to do another one? I think I'm going to need to do another one. Let's grab Baja Andalusia. There we go. And are we teching properly? Yes, we are. Alright, defense in depth. Beautiful. Actually doing really well with that. So now that we've got radio, let's build up a much larger electrics industry. Where are electrics? Here we are. Let me see. We're going to need 10 levels in Aragon, 10 levels in Catalonia, a little bit of 20 levels in Catalonia, and 20 levels in Baja Andalusia, because we are going to be producing radios. And obviously that's going to require some additional power. Let's just take a quick... Ooh, do I want to swap something else over to powered? Because I think I can. Or no, I'm going to leave the textile mills where they are for a second. What about bottle blowers? Will this make you more productive? Kind of. Water tube boiler? Looking good. Textile mills mech looms? Looking really good. Tooling workshops water tube boiler. Seem better. Paper mills water tube boiler. Seem better. And there's the war in Brazil. Very nice. Textile mills, you seem poorly. We'll put you back to traditional. Glassworks, you seem poorly. We're putting you back to traditional. Okay, we're good. Food industries, you want to produce less liquor? Weird. Steel mills, what about you? Do you like water tube boiler? No, not even a little bit. Motor industries, how about you? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to like it. Alright, so from here... Oh, I can do public motor carriages. Let's do it. It's going to make those much more productive. I could do arcades, and I will. And now, give that a week or two to let them sort themselves out. How are things looking in the Brazilian front? They're looking great. So next, we'll go with Amazonia. I want to ban slavery as the primary. They might accept. I'm going to force a diplomatic play. No one else is going to step in. And we're going to add a protectorate war goal. And from here, we'll just mobilize one of our global defense forces here. We'll put our other global defense force here. And that'll sort itself out in good time. And we have a progressive party. Amazonia's damaging relations, them's the breaks. We are in a new election cycle. So let's wait until the week goes by, and then we'll take a look at that. Where is it? Here we are. Got a shortage of telephones. What else is new? Alright. Communists are ahead. Conservatives are right behind them. After that, it's just the Catholics and the progressives all the way at the bottom. So, who do we have marginalized right now? Just the rural folk and the landowners. Alright, well, very normal politics for 1911. Surely nothing to write home about. Regime change in Serbia. Interesting. An extreme reaction. In their campaign for the upcoming election, the Progressive Party have directed criticism at the Conservative Party for allowing Prospero Campomanes among their ranks, pointing to his far-right views as an example of the party accommodating extremists. He's an ethno-nationalist. They call themselves conservatives, in itself a void of values and ideals, but something even worse has grown within that void. Among their ranks are those who would not only stand in the way of our country changing, but who want to shape its future in their own delusional ideas of a past that never existed, prepared to use any methods to achieve it. Do not cast your vote lightly unless you want to be taking the first step on the road to war and genocide. So, our two options here are far from the traditional Iberian values they claim, which provides momentum to the progressives, that's okay. Or Campomanes is simply a dedicated patriot, radicalism from discriminated pops, and extra momentum to the conservatives. I'm going to do the first one. Providing momentum to the progressives, that just seems like the right call between these two options here. Does Prussia... No, Prussia's not... I mean, they're involved, but I don't really need to concern myself with them. Perhaps I will invade them simply for funsies. But I don't think so. I think they're going to bail out within a reasonable amount of time here. So what this is going to allow us to do is now that we've got radios, I'm going to upgrade our torpedo boats to scout cruisers. That's going to take a lot of time, but it's going to be worth it. Belgium sides of the two systems. About what? Ah, a communist revolt. Interesting. Should have noticed that sooner, but that's just me. False democracy. Bartholomew Zaitsev has issued a condemnation of the Iberian electoral system and endorsing abstention from voting and what he calls a sham put on to placate the people. In the dictatorship of the reactionary, of the rich and the powerful, obscured from the view of the people by a facade of democracy, the best thing one may do is demonstrate the futility of such a guise, so that the people may be spurred into action regardless of concession. The government must know that we see through their system, reduce legitimacy, electoral confidence decreased by 3%, 2% of intelligentsia pops become more radical, reduced momentum for the progressives by 20%, increased momentum for the conservatives by 10%. Discrediting the system is the next step in the road towards revolution. Same electoral effects reduce electoral confidence by 6%. 10% of the intelligentsia are more radical, and then reduce political strength per vote and reduce legitimacy. Or their supporters aren't voting, ours certainly are. Reduce momentum for the progressives, extra momentum for the Catholics. I'm going to do the third one. But this isn't ultimately going to affect the politics very much, because the progressives and the Catholics are way behind all the other parties. And they're likely to get less than 10% of the vote each, so I'm not really concerning myself with that all that much. Alright, so let me see. The war in Brazil is going just fine. After that, I think we'll go for the countries that we need to naval invade in order to snag them. And then pretty soon, all of the former Iberian Empire will be in our hands once again. Do I try to cascade it through, or do I wait? I don't think so, because I think when I've got the Iberian, when I've got Amazonas, I'm going to pass them Guaviare. Bishop takes Black Pawn. At a soiree for the Conservative Party's wealthy supporters, Arabella Marshall began a long-winded rant about the merits of slavery and discrimination. As you can plainly see, the development of the skull is directly tied to the civility of a man. One can assuredly determine his fitness for good society by the proper measurement of his circumference. How do you intend to prove that a man does his thinking with his bones? As I said, you can determine a man's fitness for good society by properly measuring his skull. People are entitled to their opinions even if they're wrong. Conservative Party extra momentum. Our civilization is the means of our equality. A lot more momentum for the conservatives. 5% of Gujarati pops become radical. I'm just going to pick the first one. I don't want to throw much momentum by way of the conservatives because I don't wish them to be stronger. I want to keep hold of the country. Amazonia backs down. Excellent. Good on you, Amazonia. Let's be better friends. In fact, violate their sovereignty, but I don't wish to violate their sovereignty. Coup in Schwarzburg. Interesting. Photographs of the Iberian Federation. It has been suggested that we take and distribute some pictures of our country's most famous landmarks. So many wonderful places all across the country. It just seems right that the world gets to see them too. We should distribute them internationally for extra prestige, or we should distribute them domestically for extra legitimacy. I'm going to pick that second one. I love getting extra legitimacy. Cash flow is doing really well. Let's reduce taxes. I can definitely live with higher taxes. We're building up a whole heck ton of industry. Oh, I am figuring out a land of plenty. The country's high standard of living has resulted in a widespread sense of contentment with the status quo, favoring Teresa Clarament, a Catalan anarchist, and the sitting Communist Party in the ongoing elections. Change? Why would I want change? I've got a full belly, a happy wife, and a good job. Why would I squander that chasing what might be? If it's not broken, why fix it? 20% momentum. Or laud her achievements, stronger trade unions, she becomes more popular. I'm going to do the first one. That just seems sensible. So, I need to take a quick look at the market to figure out what our energy needs are looking like in the home country. Alright, so we do have some power shortages in País Vasco and Castilla Vieja. Everywhere else is looking mostly good. Baja Andalusia could use a quick check, but these are more urgent. So, where is electricity? Okay, I got 4 levels, and I'm gonna need 14 levels. Yeah, I need a nice even 10. Private sector is building 3. We'll build the remaining 7. And then País Vasco. Local demand is at 494. Private sector is building 1 level. I'll build the remaining 5. And we'll just throw those at the top of the queue. No reason to delay things. The Despot of St. Petersburg. Opposed to the arbitrary and illiberal rule of the Tsar of Russia, the intelligentsia have fallen in with the Anti-Russian Association. To all those who cherish liberty, Russia, under the boot of that pernicious Tsar, stands out as an example of the very worst excesses of despotism. I need water right now. Hydration is very important. You'll hear a lot of streamers drinking water, but me, I perhaps drink water. I don't know that I'm the most, but I'm very, very visibly doing it. It's very visible for someone who doesn't have a webcam that is on. My computer's got a built-in one, but I'm not about that face cam life. You don't want to look at me, you want to look at Victoria 3. Cherish liberty, blah, 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 blah. In no country is the indomitable right of every soul to strive towards its own destiny obstructed as it is in Russia. And in no country is a greater threat found to our own liberty than in Russia. Russia must fall, for if it does not, we will fall in her place. Down with tyrants, down with Russia, intelligentsia joins it. Or, sometimes the firm hands need to govern well, they don't join. Sure. Down with tyrants, down with Russia. I foresee no problems with this. Now, the other place I was looking at was Baja Andalusia. Local price for electricity is only a little bit higher than what we've got. I'm just going to throw a couple more levels into construction here. We are still going to finish out these electrics industries within a reasonable time frame. Yeah, and we got a subsequent round running. So, that should mean we're increasing telephone output. Mostly. The levees. We took the Chevys to them, and they were dry. Arnau Espinosa has made overtures to the rural folk for electoral support for the Conservative Party. Jose Ralvas has at least acknowledged the talks. Appeals for natural allies makes for a gamble on long odds. Receptive ears to natural allies are often already of like mind. Those who aren't of like mind would politely continue on their own way. Impolitely they might laugh, scoff, or if they're truly devious, turn the gambler into their own useful idiot. Old minds think alike, 20% momentum for the Conservatives. The grass tends to grow as it pleases, 10% momentum for the Conservatives. Stronger extra political strength in votes of farmers and extra political strength for Conservatives. I'm going to pick that second one. I think it's actually hardly going to affect the election at all. We'll get to the end of the week here, and we'll take one more look at the election results, the projected election results. Communists are going to come in first. That's pretty good. We got a hell of a population increase. Although I think part of that's because I keep taking states. And I will give those states back eventually. The hell? They didn't become my protectorate. Oh, because I didn't add it to the primary. I'm dumb. That's okay. Dang it, I will give you Guaviare. You will become whole, Amazonia. Gosh dang it. Gosh, and also dang it. We're gonna be friends. You just wait. It's happening. Alright, I'm gonna pause it right on the cusp of the election here so that I can make sure that we get what we need to get. Coup in Haiti. Alright. That's the election popped off. We're doing just fine for legitimacy. I could bring in the Conservative Party, actually, but I don't desire to do that. I could do multiculturalism. That would be extremely silly. Everyone would be big mad. But I could do it. I could do Council Republic. Let me see. Only the technocratic, only the positivist movement would actually be unhappy with this. That would be bananas if I went communist. But I'm not going to be communist. This is not that type of playthrough. Yeah, I think we're good with laws. I think we're just fine. Laws are doing great. Alright, so Brazil, you must now wish to be my protectorate. Yes, they do. Alright, wonderful. I'll improve relations again. And they are not going down in Liberty Desire, but they will be soon enough. So, before I forget, Mexico, you need Rio Grande. It should be yours. Canada, how are you? Very low in Liberty Desire. Excellent. Pleased to hear that. So now that I've done that thing, let's go after the Confederation of the Equator. I'm going to do this the right way. Or systematic way. And then I'm going to add the Protectorate War goal, and then I'm going to make it primary. One of these days, I'll stop being really bad at this game, but today is not that day. North Angola, you're a country. Neat. Oh, right, and I was going to reorganize Tigray. Well, that'll be for later. I'll go after Gojam next. I'll go for an annex on them. How are things going in Two Sicilies? You having fun with your communist revolt? I hope so. Occitania has some deals, but I feel like I could puppet them. I feel like I've got the military might to puppet Occitania. Alright, let's take another look at the electricity needs of my market. Still a little short up in the north here, which is fine. Part of that's because we're building all these electrics industries. We're good on telephones now, finally. Though, that's a good thing. How many more electrics industries do we still have on the queue here? None. Alright, so we're where we want to be. We're just going to need 4 more levels. Catalunya. Should have done this beforehand, but, you know, them's the breaks. You're going to need 6 more levels. And then País Vasco. Do you still have electrics industries under construction? You do not. So you're going to need 5 more levels. Easy peasy. Where are we currently building? These are Baja Andalusia. Alright. So in anticipation of more industry, we're going to build 5 levels here as well. And that should be fine. That should be just fine. Let's actually build 10 levels. I want to make sure we're good to go with all that. Confederacy's still a major. Sad. How's France? France is still a great power. Occitania is a minor power. So I could go after Occitania. I have the ability to puppet Occitania. No problem. Oh, Costa Rica is... I suppose I should mobilize some forces to fight this war that I intend to fight. So the second Global Defense Force, you can go to Costa Rica to deal with that situation. First Global Defense Force, you can mobilize, and we'll just put you in Venezuela. At this point, my fleet should be upgraded, so we'll put them here to support the naval invasion that will inevitably come. Now, we're a little bit short on bureaucracy. So first, we'll take a look at if there's anywhere we're short on taxation capacity. There is not. Let's go ahead and grab the ones in Catalonia and get them over to telephone switchboards. That'll cause a shortage of telephones again, because, oh, no, maybe it won't. Nice. We're doing very well with telephones now. Wonderful. Doing pretty well with iron, doing very well with steel, exporting a lot of ironclads, exporting a lot of stuff. We're importing some coal, and that's not ideal. We'll throw an import tariff on that. Let me just make sure I did it and didn't just pretend to do it. Where's coal? Where's coal? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Game's running silly right now. Did I do this thing? I did. Alright, lovely. And there's defense in depth. Beautiful. So, I'm going to hit that sweet, sweet upgrade all units button. And that's going to upgrade all of my shrapnel artillery to siege artillery. And that's going to make my armies much, much more effective. Standard of living is really spiking. That's creating huge loyalization, which is very, very good. There's that war started. What's their capital? Pernambuco. Alright, easy peasy. Why don't we just get ourselves invading? This should not be difficult. And then once the Costa Rican anarchist revolt pops off, we should be fine to go ahead and snag Occitania. We've got a lot of leverage. Maybe after that we'll grab Bulgaria, Romania, and Moldavia. We'll see. We'll see how things go. We're just about finished with our construction queue. So let's see what else our market needs. Oh, right. I was going to build up coal resources. That just seems sensible. Let's go over to rural. And we're just going to build coal basically anywhere we've got the ability to. Asturias? Yeah, let's throw 1 million coal mines in there. Let me see. Castilla Nueva, we can do a few more. Valencia, we can do a few more. I'm actually going to throw all those ones at the top to get them done quickly. And then we'll worry about other countries' coal mines later. Now Asturias is here. Are we going to need more infrastructure? Probably not, but let's just make sure. No reason to risk completely overrunning my capacity when I'm anticipating the issue. Great Britain can claim whatever they want. Just as I claim whatever I wish. Because the infamy system is busted! I'm hoping that my next run, the infamy system, will be unbusted, and I'll be able to... Not that it hasn't been fun to Hearts of Iron 4 my way across the world, carving up territory as I see fit, and breaking off subject states simply to seize them. But it's not the way it was intended to work. Can't attack them yet? Oh, we still got a truce. We still got ourselves a truce. 8 months. Alright, easy peasy. Bahia next. Ban slavery, force diplomatic play. And then we add make protectorate. We make protectorate primary. And then we prepare for war. We've got 2 separate naval invasions, some on the part of our allies, and there is the Dreadnought. So let's bring the Armada. Well, the Armada's in the middle of a naval battle. Oh, right, they're supporting this invasion. I'm so smart. So smart and good at video games. Alright, what else do we need in our market? We could certainly use more rubber. So let's get working on that. Let's make livestock ranches electric where we can. Costa Rican anarchist revolts is crushed. Rubber, 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 rubber. Oh, let's electrify our logging industry. So, rubber, why are you so unprofitable? That's weird. I guess I'm actually not holding that much rubber-producing territory, am I? Ooh, I have access to combustion engine derricks. Let's do it. I'll hold off on that other stuff for now. Those are their methods. So we're producing a ton more oil at this stage. In fact, we're producing so much, it's kind of a joke. Should I subvene export? I don't think so. I don't think I need to. We're just balanced with iron. We could be producing more steel. We could be producing more lead, which is an interesting situation to be in this, the latest part of the game. So yeah, let's build up. We got a few places we can produce some more lead. Yeah, just all the ones in the home territories. I don't want to necessarily focus on building up too much in my subject states for now, because I don't necessarily know if those are going to be profitable. Still a little short on glass. Still chipping away at the coal situation. Silk is still... I guess Pabrine sorted itself out. Hooray. Let's hope. Do we have some market access issues? We do. Mostly in our subjects' territories. But that's fine. No reason not to solve those. Yeah, infrastructure here. Where's the other one? Ah, here. East Houseland. Oh, East Houseland is extremely down bad. Alright. Excellent. So we'll throw all of these at the top of the queue. Sahara's actually fine. They only need 1 level. Bahia, let's have better relations. Radio production. The production of radios in our factories has led to a boom in employment and profit. Telephones? No, 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 no. Who wants a telephone? One person talks to another person useless. What you want is a radio. One person talks to hundreds, nay thousands, and the best part? They can't talk back. More radios. 50% more radios. Excellent. So we're landed, so let's grab the fleet, bring them back to Iberia, and get those ironclads upgraded. Because we want to turn those into dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are very nice. Cambodian modernist revolts in Cambodia, not my business. Everything's going in Brazil. We're going. Relations are improving. I think once we get above 50, they'll be better. And then their liberty desire will start going down, and that will be nice. I could always do something to help them. Perhaps spreading knowledge or something of that character. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, how much longer until we can take over Occitania. May. It's May of 1913. All right, shouldn't be a problem. Prussia's going for Hesse. You know, that seems fine to me. I'm not worried about that. Can't believe Amazonia's got away. And due to my own stupidity as well. I'm glad they're banning slavery, though. Speaking of which, let's do a pass through our subjects and make sure that our laws are not totally goofed. Universal suffrage presidential republic. Legacy slavery. Don't love it. Ban it. Chile. Slavery is banned. Wealth voting. Parliamentary republic. Freedom of speech. Oh, why don't you? Wow, nobody likes it. What's going on with you, buddy? Industrialists, or the petit bourgeoisie. What if you go to census suffrage? Petit bourgeoisie will love that. Argentina's slavery banned. Very nice. Peru, Bolivia. You're also at wealth voting. You have the Catholic Church in charge. Curious. You have banned slavery. Census suffrage, pretty low chance. Universal, equally low chance. Do universal, buddy. Time to let the people vote. Ecuador, landed voting. It's Garbo. Universal suffrage. Ecuador refused. Well, that's a shame. What am I going to do about it? I don't know yet. Venezuela? Are you doing slavery? You are doing slavery. Ban that shit. Mexico. How are you doing? Excellent. You're in landed voting again, sir. Sir? I'm going to have to demand that you go to universal suffrage. Santo Domingo. Census suffrage theocracy. Very cool. Protected speech. National Guard. Mercantilism. Agrarianism. You're doing just fine. You're doing great. In fact. And please. This pleases the cat. Honduras, you're at censorship. Don't love that. Take a quick look at these other areas. Yeah, we got a lot of people doing censorship here. New Grenada. Universal suffrage, please. Yeah, and let's get some right of assembly. Oh my gosh, look at those chances. You gotta. You got rid of assembly already, very good. Rid of assembly. This better happen. You're still working on proportional taxation, I'm okay with that. Now, I've developed quite a large global empire. Canada. What do your laws look like? They're pretty okay. But you need right to associate. Cape Colony. You're working on regulatory bodies, that's perfectly fine. Madagascar, your country, you're subject to Russia, interesting. Australia, what does your laws look like? You're an autocracy. Well, that's got to go. Time to vote. Turkey, how are you doing? You are a universal suffrage parliamentary republic. You're doing slave trade. It's gotta go. Beautiful. All right. That has been very productive. Why don't we sort this thing? Republic of the Equator. You fought well. It's time to let it be. Time to let it ride. And we'll improve relations with these countries as well. Alright, and pretty soon, I should get pneumatic tools. I'm going to queue in pneumatic tools. I've almost got pneumatic tools. Beautiful. I'm so smart and good at video games. This should be really, really soon. And there we go. Alright. Let's build that church. Now, what else does our market need? Let's take a quick look at our... transport needs. Good in the home country. Shortage here in Cyrenaica, shortage here in Fezzan. Alright. We'll build some railways. And what about energy? Energy's looking good. Actually, we got, I tell a lie, Aragon, Catalonia, and Baja Andalusia are all down bad. So Aragon, you need another, I think, 8 levels. Private sector is building... Oh, we'll go up to 9. We'll go up to 19 and 17. Catalonia, you need another 10 levels. Private sector is building none. You are fully employed, alright. And then Baja Andalusia, you need an additional 19 levels, I think. Yeah, basically. Wait, hold on. Catalonia, you need way more than 10. You need 20. You need a nice even 20. Alright. That's going to be enough to go on with. For now. Yep. Insufficient construction for the investment pool. Are you serious? Still? Golly. Man, this cascading investment pool situation, it's really extreme. Alright, let's... I somehow goofed Beira. And then, yeah, we'll just build 10 levels anywhere I feel like. Time to get constructing. I'm just going to throw all of these at the front of the queue, and they'll just get done really, really fast because they're construction industries. And construction industries build fast because you gotta be able to construct when you need to construct. Alright, so, Occitania. If I try to make you a protectorate, what happens? Prussia steps in? Nobody else? Cool. Let's do it. I'm probably not going to need that much strength here. Let's mobilize the first Iberian army for a nice solid show of strength. And then we'll mobilize the first home guard to defend ourselves. And all of that will be silly. An Egyptian radical revolt. Interesting. Neither of you will allow me to step in and take over your country. Tragedy. How could this happen? I can't believe it. Occitania, are you sure you don't want to be regime change in Serbia? They're always going for regime change in Serbia. I never realized having a communist subject was such a freaking huge bait for, oh my god, France is finally taking over Itabas. Itabas has been there the whole game. It took them 75 years, but they're finally doing it. That's so funny. You get that journal entry, France. You get your claims on Morocco. You fight me for Morocco. Do it. You're an adult. You know, this is really silly, but... Ooh, unrealized taxes in Valencia. You know what that means. Time to swap over the government production methods. This is really silly, but I'm actually going to reduce taxes again. Psychoanalysis. Nice. Wow, we're really getting a lot of tech spread to us. Alright, so there's NCO training. After that, Let's finish out... Let's get film, because we've had some shortages in art production. And then in production, let's do household plastics, mechanized farming, conveyors, and then we'll do compression ignition. I don't think we need to do oil turbine right now, but we do want to circle back to military after that to just grab all this other good stuff. Stormtroopers, military aviation, concrete fortifications, mobile armor, flamethrower, chemical warfare, battleship, aircraft carrier, and mobile battlefleet tactics. Or modern battlefleet tactics, rather. I'm just going to make sure this is a good force comparison, so I'm going to mobilize the 2nd Iberian Expeditionary Force as well. This is going to cost us a huge pile of money, but we're like way over our reserve limit at this stage, so I'm really genuinely not worried. We're going to finish out all this construction pretty soon, or most of it, except for that big old church. Build that church. Everyone loves a church. Telephones are short still. Could decrease the autonomy of Gaza or Sardinia-Piedmont. I'm going to hold off for now. Just want to make sure things are chill with Brazil. They are going down in Liberty Desire. Wonderful. Poor relations, but that's okay. That'll be better later. I think I am actually going to give them knowledge sharing. It's going to reduce my tech spread by a little bit, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm pretty far ahead on the tech tree as it stands. And then once the situation in Occitania is sorted out, then I'll finally allow Tigray to form themselves a frickin' Ethiopia, and that will be beautiful. If I need to get them Ausa and Gojam. That's what I need to do next. And then they'll be able to properly form themselves a, I'm going to mobilize the first X-Force as well. Again, I want to get this done real quick. I don't want this to necessarily be one of those big ol'... one of those wars that really drags on. Speaking of dragging on, it is really, really late. I can't believe this. Why do... Is this because my game is running slow? It might be because the game is running slow, actually. Now that I'm thinking of coup in Peru, Bolivia. Assuming the petite bourgeoisie into power. This can't have anything to do with me, and my demand that they... I've already forgotten what it was. That they... It was... The petite bourgeoisie stopped them from doing census suffrage? That can't be right. Weird. Weird. Guns and steam. Candido dos Reis has successfully deployed our impressive dreadnoughts in the ongoing conflicts, proving that they are not mere vanity projects for the Navy. At first, onlookers were shocked. As it appeared from the distance, the ship itself had exploded. In fact, the flames engulfing it were from its first full broadside. The ship itself was quite unharmed, although I have heard that it is inadvisable to keep any fragile objects on board for such an occasion. More impressive now than ever, extra prestige. Or now that we know how to use them effectively even in peacetime, extra prestige from Navy power projection. I'm going to go with the first one. My prestige is not from Navy power projection. So as you can see, our cash flow is doing just fine, even though we've got a good chunk of our armed forces mobilized. Force comparison here is rock solid. What is the capital of Occitania? Yep, there's France claiming Tunisia. It's Languedoc. Well, that should be fine. We should be able to snag that territory, no problem, and link up with Sardinia-Piedmont. In fact, what if I reduce their autonomy right now? I'm going to do it. That was probably dumb, but it's okay. I should have checked my my subject first. Let's take a look at our subjects. I don't really need to concern myself with the colonies. It's the protectorates. Okay, Bahia, not going down as fast as I should like. Brazil, going down pretty okay. Confederation of the Equateur. They're going down reasonably well. So what's causing your shortage? You have anti-overlord interest groups. Bahia, anti-overlord interest groups. Brazil, bad relations. I am working on improving relations with these other states. What if we? No, you know what? I'm not in a hurry about that. Violence against Chewa people. Chewa people are being attacked and killed by some members of the Portuguese people in Extremadura. A riot broke out, although calling it that is an understatement. They went from house to house, beating, robbing, and even killing whoever they found. Order and morality must be restored. -5 standard of living, reduced authority. -5 standard of living for Chewa and Extremadura. Or, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do, -7 standard of living for Chewa and Extremadura. I just want to make sure we've got Chewa people here before I make this decision. We do. Alright. Order and morality must be restored. This is kind of a non-question. -5 is quite a bit, but -7 is completely intolerable. Okay, hold on. How do I... Looking for my Chewa subjects here. Boy, howdy. I sure have a lot of folks here, huh? Here we go. Standard of living 12. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, and now close this up so that I don't end up in a situation. Occitania, my friends. Relations are still basically good. We'll improve them. Liberty Desire is going down at a good, healthy clip. Excellent. So now... let's see. 2 Sicilies. You're a minor. But first... Tigray. I'm going to grant you Amhara. That's yes. Yep. And I'm also going to grant you Oromia. I can't grant them Oromia. Is Oromia your capital? It is. Iberian Abyssinia, can I take a state? No, because their liberty desire is too high. Well, gosh dang. That's okay. We're close. We're close. Let's snag Gojam. With an annexed country CB, no one's going to step in and stop me from doing that. We'll just mobilize one of our global defense forces here. Put those units right in there. Let me see. I think after that it's 2 Sicilies. 2 Sicilies is the target from there. And then what else do I want? What else do I want? I do have a bunch of territory here in Gujarat. Again, I could start devouring small Indian states. Could snag Madagascar, steal them from the Russians. Can I reduce Gaza's autonomy? I surely can, but I need to be careful. Oh, I can go after Greekland. No, I can't, because they're British. Although at this point, I feel confident in my ability to take on the British in a fight. They are they're a lot weaker than I am at this stage. And I am working on NCO training, and once I've got NCO training, frickin' nobody is going to be able to stop me from doing whatever I wish militarily. I still have overflow from unspent innovation. I do, but not as much as I could have. I should continue working on my economy is what I should do. Let's see. What else is needed for our market? We're doing well for oil. In fact, we're exporting tons and tons of oil. Hold on. I've got a method I can use that'll use more of this oil that I've got so much heckin' extra of somewhere. I don't remember. Well, them's the breaks. Keep this going at full speed here. So let's see. Luxury clothes are doing fine. Clothes are doing fine. In fact, clothes are very affordable. Tools are just fine. Fish are alright. Meat's doing great. Iron's doing great. Lead is doing great. Furniture's just a tad expensive. Steel is a little pricey. Munitions are fine. Silk is fine. Actually importing silk, which I wish we were not, but them's the breaks. Radios were good. Ironclads were doing alright. I could use some more paper. That's what I could use more of. Let's build up Catalonia, Valencia, Extremadura? Absolutely. We'll build the heck up Extremadura. Guaviare? Let's do it. Tunisia? Let's do it. And Gojam backs down. Excellent. Hold on. I've got a state that needs to have its production methods reset. Boy, I've got a bunch. Oh, right. It's the one I just took. Alright, so Tigray. You, sir. Need Gondar. And Amhara. And you need Oromia from Iberian Syria. Or Abyssinia. Well, eventually. Alright, so now that that's done, let's go after two Sicilies. You could be a protectorate. Sweden might step in, but they're the only ones. Let's do it. Don't you need protection, two Sicilies? Don't you feel the need to be protected? Realistically, I could probably electrify Africa, no problem. Maybe I'll do that. United States, who are you going after? Amazonia? Hold on. Amazonian protection. Hell no. Better not. In fact, outrageous. United States, how absolute dare. Oh boy, things are really weird in Amazonia. They got a para uprising. That's curious. Nevertheless... Well, I guess we're gonna need to put some armies near America, aren't we? Ooh, an Apache National Awakening. Exciting. Put an X-Force in Canada as well. I think the Para Uprising is actually going to win. So we'll improve relations with them. Plus side, if the Para Uprising wins, then, then I guess we won't be in a war with America or something? I don't know. We won't have a truce with Para. That's important. That's an important part of this. I didn't know you could go for a protectorate against a country that was in the middle of a civil war, but maybe it's technically not a civil war for some reason. Sadly, this means I'm going to need to bring taxes up to low. Do we need to bring them up to Midland? I don't think so. I'm going to finish with these paper mills within a very reasonable time frame, and then I'll be able to just tank the financial pressure of it all. So yeah, so we'll basically do a two-pronged invasion. One prong from Mexico, the other prong from Canada. And that'll be just fine. But we'll send one more of the Global Defense Forces to Canada, just to sort that out. Now, how are things looking in Two Sicilies? They're looking just fine. I feel strongly that I can handle this. Okay, so the Para Uprising kind of won. They won, so now they're free. Cool. Well, United States, I think you played yourself. Maybe I played myself. Hold on. Secessionist movement. Is this Gujarat again? Melanesia. Well, it's both. The Melanesian National Movement. What states are you? Iberian Vanuatu. Hold on, I'm gonna use the finder again. That helps? Iberian Vanuatu. Okay, I can solve this problem. Hey, Australia. I can't do it because we're in a diplomatic play. It's okay. Soon I'll give it over to Australia. That will solve the problem. Alright, so Mexico. You're joining the war. Canada. You're joining the war. Enjoy my armies, United States. Yeah, I know. The thing's on fire. Oh, it's the Gujaratis. Hold on. I can deal with this. This is easy. Alright. We got that dealt with. So, Australia. Grant State... I can't... Oh, we're in the middle of it. This is annoying. You guys really played yourselves in this case. This is very silly because my whole idea was like, well, as soon as they get goofy, I can just give them a subject state. But it turns out that I'm not going to give them a subject state because they don't want They don't... They don't want autonomy. What they want is to be shot at, because they're putting me in a position where I cannot grant them the independence which they desire. So force comparison here is looking actually not as good as I thought, but we are doing some damage to them, so hopefully that will improve as time goes by here. I'm not going to be too conscientious about that. I'm going to be more watching over here, because this is really the area where I think things are likely to happen. Although we're actually making really good progress in Italy, so maybe it's only the United States where I need to be paying attention. Oh boy, events. Covert agitation. Revolutionary sympathizers have begun to agitate for anti-government causes in the barracks in Gujarat. The state has forsaken every right it has to order your blood shed. You must realize this. Even beyond Gujarat, people like you and me are beginning to demand an end to this nightmare. And it starts with you and I, us common soldiers, the ones they trust to do their will. What will happen when they finally see that no one will stand behind them? The armed forces must be loyal to the state above all else. Happier armed forces weaken the movement, or those who control the soldiers control the state. Rebellion progresses. 5% of servicemen in Gujarat become more radical. Reduced barracks throughput. I'm going to pick the first one. This is just a, do you want to support the rebels, or do you want to support the government event? And I'm not really concerning myself with that. Hold on. I should be able to deal with the Gujarat thing. I can't do it because we're in a war. You really fucked yourselves good. But I guess this is like a large popular movement. One can't expect, you know, really smart, large-scale coordination on a movement like that, particularly in a situation where they're, you know, they're just people. They don't know the rules of the game that's being played around them. They don't even know it's a game. So, you know, I think we can have some patience. Industrial barriers. Factories in Leon have been reported to be placing beat-on people into roles with incredibly poor working conditions, owing to their status as second-class citizens in the Iberian Federation. I know. Us businessmen have a reputation for only caring about the bottom line. That may be true for some, but the way I see it, any venture must be built on a strong foundation of values. The beat-on people don't understand those values. How could they? Those are our values. This unequal treatment cannot stand. Angrier and weaker petite bourgeoisie, that's not bad, and increased cultural majority movement pop attraction, or they'll get to be given any job at all, -2 standard of living for beat-on pops, 2% of beat-on pops in the entire country become more radical, 5% additional in the state of Leon, and reduced cultural majority movement pop attraction. Our Iberian supremacist movement is not very active. Let's just go with the first one. That's fine with me. Oh, and do a promotion. The armed forces demand the promotion of Major General Anthony Junient, touting his history of loyal and effective service. So many medals adorned his jacket that one could scarcely see the fabric beneath, but it was not yet enough. Chest puffed out with pride, the general smiled as he imagined the look on Herculano's face when the field marshal learned of his imminent ascension. The rivalry was legendary among the officers. At last, he would have his due. Until Junient has earned it, he gets a promotion, or the armed forces will not force our hand. Salty armed forces, happy trade unions. If I do the first one, the armed forces become happier. We'll go with happy armed forces. That guy's a dumb ethno-nationalist, but the armed forces like him, so them's the breaks. Alright. This force comparison is kind of absurd. Frankly. How much longer have I got? Wow. 3 hours and 15 minutes. This is getting a little silly. I might need to cut it here, friends. I know we've just started 2 wars, but I really have got to sleep sometime. Official translations. The government has received requests from the Gujarati people to provide translations for some official documents to their language. When you speak of the Gujarati as uneducated, you are seemingly referring to those of us who do not speak 2 languages, but only 1, like you. It's important these documents are accessible to all. Reduce bureaucracy. 5% of Gujarati pops in the Iberian Federation become more loyalist. Or they should learn the official language. 5% become more radical. I'm going to pick the first one, and we'll see if that messes up the revolutionary movement, or if I've simply wasted some of whatever. Oh, thoughts, friends. They're really difficult. Fortunacy of anger. Mobs have surrounded an arsenal in Gujarat, threatening to seize the arms and munitions stored therein. While the guards are staving off attacks for now, if no relief is sent, the arsenal will fall to the insurrectionists. I couldn't sleep last night. The commander refuses to accept terms, and firing continues from both the arsenal and the emplacements that now surround it. After one loud blast, I sprung out of bed and went to my knees to pray as I've never prayed before. A relief column could escalate the tensions a little bit, but it's necessary. 5% of servicemen pops become more radical, or the mob could be emboldened by a surrender, but we need to take that risk. 5% of officer pops become more radical. So, both of these have an equal chance of increasing or decreasing the secession on average. So I'm basically picking between radicalizing servicemen and radicalizing officers. I'm going to pick officers. Well, it went up. That was the brakes. Cash flow is looking a lot better now. Looks like there's an Iberian unification going on. That's what it seems like to me. And we have one more event before we finish out. The Hell on Earth event. We're going to get more and more of these as time goes by. Workers at the rubber plantations in Zambezia are being severely mistreated. Mutilation has become a common punishment for perceived failures. They went on to declare, when asked why they had fled, that they had endured such ill treatment at the hands of the government officials and the government soldiers in their own country that life had become intolerable, that nothing had remained for them at home but to be killed for failure to bring in a certain amount of rubber or to die from starvation or exposure in their attempts to satisfy the demands made upon them. We cannot slow down production, increase mortality of laborers on plantations in Zambezia, launch an inquiry into conditions of the plantations, reduce rubber plantations throughput in Zambezia, or the perpetrators will pay for their crimes. Slightly reduced rubber plantations building throughput. I'm going to pick that third one. This is available to us because we got some workers' protections. You know what? No, I'm going to finish out with these wars. And then we'll be good to go. Oh no! The fronts have busted up. Stop that. Oh my goodness, we have hold on. Our fronts have become stupid. Alright, happily these are still one front, so as long as these guys get here within a reasonable time frame, we'll be fine. And they're getting there. We've mobilized the, that's why it's important to motorize your armed forces. I should have liberated Texas, but I didn't have the ability to because it was all Amazonia. Making really good progress in Italy. In fact, we're very close to having full occupation of Lazio, which is Rome. That's their capital. And that's going to make things a ton easier. This will be good. Then I can transfer Provence to Occitania to unite that area, and I can put Emilia into Sardinia-Piedmont, and that'll be nice. Oh, I'm just changing up borders all the time. How's Abyssinia doing? Still going down Liberty Desire at a very good clip, so that'll be good. I'll be able to give Ethiopia Oromia pretty soon. Once these diplomatic plays are finished, that is. These wars, I'm in wars right now. Committed diplomatic play, I'm committed as heck. Commitment size large. I'll never be afraid of commitment. I'm committed in every diplomatic play. How are things going with America? They don't have war support protection, so we're just kind of shooting forward and devastating them at this point for funsies. Sindh owes us an obligation. And there is NCO training. Excellent. We'll absolve it. We'll be better friends soon, son. And let's upgrade our units. Crazy Buck Wild upgrading in the middle of a war, but this is going to make this war a cakewalk, frankly. It's going to make it freaking stupid. Speaking of which, this front has kind of become its own thing. And frankly, I'm kind of pleased about that. Are we causing devastation in America? I'm not sure. What are we researching right now? We're working on film. Alright, that's good. Film and then household plastics. I do like household plastics. Household plastics is very good. What are we doing institutions-wise? We're basically okay with institutions. I could go for another level of home affairs. That'd be nice. Does make the petite bourgeoisie stronger, which I don't love. We do have a National Guard, don't we? Fair enough. So, let's get ourselves a little bit more bureaucracy. And maybe a little bit more in Galicia as well. Is that enough for a level? It sure is. More than enough. Alright, nice. And is there anything else owned by the two Sicilies? No, it's just Sardinia. Sardinia's... or the Republic of San Marco, which is just Sardinia, I think. Will absolve their obligation. Nice, I did it. How close are you to being okay? You're okay now. Let's do it. You're coming with me. Now, two Sicilies. Let's be better friends. Your liberty desire is not going down because you got anti... Okay, hold on. I can do something about this with money, right? I can fund lobbies. I'm going to also give them knowledge sharing, I think. And there's the war in America finished. Wonderful. Right on time. And let me just make sure that my armies are on their way back to... They sure are. Beautiful. I did it. So now... Alright, so next on the agenda, I'm going to go after Para. I'm going to try to get Brazil, Bahia, and Confederation of the Equator reduced in Liberty Desire. And then... Wait. Before I do this, let's go a couple more weeks just to get this thing sorted out so that I don't forget. I've got to get Abyssinia coordinated. I will have an Ethiopia. If nothing else, I'll have an Ethiopia. You better not pop off while I'm trying to do this thing. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The Melanesian National Movement. Wait, hold on. I'm not committed right now. If I grant you... Haha! No more Melanesian National Movement. Alright, and now... Gujarat is going to be... Baroda. Yes. Baroda, Bhavnagar, or Dharampur. I got a lot of countries I could release. Dharampur has a nice logo. At least a subject country. Alright. And that should end both my, my secession movements. What? But they... What? Who? Okay, so they popped off, but it's not... There's no diplomatic play because they don't hold any territory. That's very funny. Alright, so that should be good. So now you should be perfect. So we'll grant state. I can't. Hold on. I can only take Somaliland. Gosh dang it. I need to annex them. I need to actually, literally annex them. Unbelievable. Alright, well, we'll handle it in another... Let me just get us over the line here to make sure that Gujarati National Movement is still trying to pop off. Why are you trying to pop off? Who's trying to secede? This is very funny. This is very silly, friends. But we're gonna have to deal with it next time because it's too late at night and I'm tired. But yeah, we've done a lot of good work here. We've created ourselves a solid imperial foothold in southern Europe, which we already had some of, but we're getting much closer to full control over South America. That's also good. What? But okay, well, never mind. I'm not going to deal with that right now. Well, it'll be at a later point. I'm going to put taxes back to Midland so I don't forget that they're not on Midland. Because they won't be. Yeah, you got it. You got it. It's late. It's late and I'm tired and I need to go to bed. So, yes, we got ourselves a global empire by stealing it all from Britain because infamy is broken in this patch. Maybe they fixed it in 12.2, but maybe that didn't happen for existing games. Either way, it's been a very productive session. We're controlling an absurd quantity of the land mass of the world at present. A really ridiculous amount. And yeah, we're hurtling towards a global hegemony. I have had fun, my nerds. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.